At 8 o'clock in the morning, Lin Fan woke up from his sleep and looked down at Lin Yu, who was sleeping soundly in his arms. The girl kissed Lin Yu's ear yesterday. Lin Fan stood up. The slight movement woke up Lin Yu, who was as confused as a bird. The kitten, which had just woken up, took Lin Fan's arm with its little hand and rubbed it against it, as if it wanted to hold it for a while. Withdrawing his arm, Lin Fan covered her with a quilt, put on his clothes and walked out of the room. Before he reached the living room, he smelled the aroma of rice. "Lord, do you want to wash up?" Seeing Zhao Wanqing dressed as a cook, Lin Fan nodded. This woman did not disappoint him too much. She knew how to get up early to cook, which was a plus for her. Seeing Lin Fan nodding, Zhao Wanqing soon said. Zhao Wanqing came out with a basin of water, then took Lin Fan's arm and started to wash his hands. Lin Fan was confused at the time. After washing his hands, Zhao Wanqing took a towel and wiped his face carefully. Her movements were gentle, as if she was afraid of hurting him. Only then did he, Lin Fan, react. This was the first time for him to be washed by someone. Looking at the toothpaste and toothbrush prepared next to him, an idea suddenly came to his mind. Is this woman still brushing his teeth? Many times, when all impossibilities are eliminated, that is the truth. Zhao Wanqing actually brushed his teeth with a toothbrush. Looking at his face so close, Lin Fan didn't know what to say for a moment. Should we praise the corruption of capital or denounce it? Lin Fan thought about it, and as someone who enjoys this privilege, he chose to remain silent. Lord, will this hurt? Is it too much strength? It's time for the master to change sides. Listening to Zhao Wanqing's gentle voice, Lin Fan seemed to be very cooperative. After washing, Zhao Wanqing took the basin and left, leaving Lin Fan sitting alone on the sofa. After a while, Lin Yu, who was yawning, put on his clothes, walked out neatly. Why don't you sleep? Getting into Lin Fan's arms, Lin Yu shook her head and said sleepily. The Lord is not here, so Yu couldn't sleep, so she got up. She has to clean up the zombies later. Patting Lin Yu's back, Lin Fan said softly. Go and wash up, it's time to eat. After breakfast was finished peacefully, Zhao Wanqing was left alone at home. Lin Fan and Lin Yu, who had recovered their strength, went to the hospital area to clean up the remaining zombies. Just as the two of them were leaving, a residential area not far from the hospital appeared. Inside, 3 men, Zhao Ziyong, Hua Ming'an and Wen Lu, opened the door cautiously and ran out. Their mission was to avoid zombies and go to the hospital to find antipyretics. There were originally 5 of them, but 2 of them felt it was too dangerous, flinched. Zhao Ziyong, I will not give up Qingqing to you. We each rely on our own abilities. Unlike Zhao Ziyong, who is tall and strong, Hua Ming'an is a young man, thin and fair-skinned. Now for the goddess in his heart. Hua Ming'an looks at Zhao Ziyong without fear. Wen Lu between the two pushing up the gold-rimmed glasses on the bridge of his nose, he said with a gloomy expression. I don't care how you two argue. The main reason I came out with you this time is because of Yan Yan. Whom Yu Yuqing belongs to has nothing to do with me at all. Glancing at Hua Ming'an, Zhao Ziyong gave up the idea of arguing and said seriously. Let's just follow the original plan last night. Hua Ming'an snorted coldly and did not prod Wen Lu anymore. The 3 of them carefully walked around the zombies and slowly approached the hospital. This journey was unspeakably thrilling. If you can go around it, you will throw something away. After attracting the attention of the zombies, he finally managed to climb over the iron fence of the hospital without any danger. He collapsed on the ground and rested for a while. Zhao Ziyong wiped the sweat from his head and stood up. The outpatient building is over there. Let's be careful. We wasted too much time when we came here. We must go back before dark. The zombies at night are too scary. Wenlu and Hua Ming'an didn't refute, with a look of fear in their eyes. They obviously knew how scary the zombies were at night. The 3 of them walked forward hunched over, but what made them confused was why there were no zombies in this courtyard. Why is it so quiet? This is obviously unconventional. Little did they know that the hospital area had been cleaned up by Lin Fan. What they didn't even know was that from above, a gaze was looking down at them. Interestingly, before I went out, someone came to my territory first. A gust of fragrant wind came from behind. Lin Yu quietly appeared next to Lin Fan. She noticed Lin Fan's gaze and couldn't help but look over in confusion. Lord, what are you looking at? Nothing. I found a few little mice. It looks like there should be an unexpected harvest. Following 3 little mice home, the strong Lin Yu has been strengthened many times. Lin Fan's vision is terrifying. The hospital area is already very empty. Even if the 3 of them are bent over, in Lin Fan's eyes, the target is still too big. Big. Standing on the top floor and looking at the 3 little mice sneaking in below, Lin Yu looked evil and said, "My lord, do you want me to go down and kill them?" Perhaps it was because he had seen too many vile videos on the internet, but Lin Yu had a special interest in men. I have instinctive disgust and hatred. Now I see 3 men dared to sneak in. No matter what they want to do, this is unforgivable. This is Lin Fan's territory. If anyone breaks in without permission, they will die. Go ahead, don't rush to take action. They must be looking for medicine when they come to the hospital. If you follow the clues, you may gain something big. Lin Yu nodded, turned around and disappeared on the rooftop. Lin Fan had no intention of following her. Lin Yu's magnetic control has now been promoted to level 4. At this level, even bullets cannot harm Lin Yu. What does he have to worry about? This is an experience. Lin Yu cannot always follow him. As the power level increases, the 2 of them being together will delay the progress too much. He has to distract himself from leaving some zombies for Lin Yu, which slows down the upgrade of the power. Speed. With LV4 magnetic control, Lin Yu already has the ability to stand alone, but she doesn't know if she is ruthless enough and decisive enough. In the outpatient building, Zhao Jiyong and the other 3 who were not aware that they had been discovered were a little confused. So quiet. Even too weird. Along the way, I didn't encounter a single zombie. Not only that, except for bloodstains, there was not a single zombie in the hospital building. What is going on? Where are the zombies? Where have they all gone? The 3 of them looked at each other, feeling a little uneasy. After all, things were too weird. They were a little discouraged. Zhao Jiyong, a tall man, felt a little chill down his spine. Hurry up and find medicine, cold medicine, antipyretic medicine. Get more of this. I never want to come to this damn place again. The 3 of them split up and rummaged around. Antipyretics were very common. The 3 of them quickly packed a large bag, which contained not only antipyretics, but also cold medicines, alcohol, and other miscellaneous things. Walk. The 3 people took their things and quickly exited the hospital building. From a window on the 3rd floor, Lin Yu watched the 3 people's backs walk away, and then jumped out of the window. He landed smoothly, and then shot like an arrow from a string. Go out and chase after the 3 people. Jumping on the roof all the way, looking at the 3 people walking on the ground as fast as turtles, Lin Yu had no choice but to take action and clean up some zombies blocking the road, which made the 3 people speed up. Quite a bit. Seeing the 3 people running directly into a house, Lin Yu frowned, sensed it, and after confirming the number of people and weapons, he jumped in through a window. Yan Yan, we brought back the antipyretic medicine. Zhao Jiyong and Hua Mingyan took large and small bags of medicine and kept knocking on the bedroom door. Soon, Zhao Yan, who was plump and with a youthful look, opened the door. Keep your voice down. Ching finally fell asleep. Hearing Zhao Yan's rebuke, Zhao Jiyong and Hua Mingyan quickly fell silent. They pointed at the bags in their hands without any anger. Their consciousness was very clear. It can be said that they have exerted their dog-licking spirit to a certain level. And look at when Zhao Yan came out, Wen Lu also came up and handed over the bag of medicine he was holding. So much. Zhao Yan looked at the 3 big bags of medicine, her eyes opened into an O shape, and she looked very surprised. In her opinion, it was incredible that the 3 of them could bring back the medicine when they went out this time. In the end, not only did they bring back the medicine, there are so many of them? This is unbelievable. Have all the zombies outside changed to vegetarianism? Looking at Zhao Yan's stunning appearance, the 3 of them looked intoxicated. Like a dog, as long as she is a woman, they can go crazy licking. Ta. Clatter. Clatter. The sound of high heels came, and several people were slightly startled. They looked over and were stunned when they saw the strange figure walking out step by step. You. Who are you? Why is it in our home? Looking at Lin Yu who came out with a cold face and evil eyes, Zhao Yan was a little confused, and at the same time she was a little scared. She didn't know why, but when she saw Lin Yu, she felt panicked and scared. Lin Yu didn't kill so many zombies for nothing. Now that he is in a bad mood, this evil spirit naturally comes out of his body, bringing a strong sense of oppression. You went to the Lord's territory to steal medicine, and now you ask me who I am? Master? Territory? Stealing medicine? The expressions of Zhao Ziyong and the other two people change. They thought of the hospital, especially when they heard Lin Yu call out the word Master. They were filled with jealousy. Such a beautiful woman actually called someone else Master. Go up. Doesn't that mean they've done everything? They've been licking for so long. Zhao Yanyan and the others didn't even hold their hands. They were so jealous that they were almost vomiting blood. Lin Yu didn't know what the licking dogs were thinking. He walked up to Zhao Yanyan, raised his hand and pinched Zhao Yanyan's chin. His eyes were like looking at ants, pigs and dogs. Let me ask you, is it still the first time? Hey, what are you doing? Let go of Yanyan. Lin Yu pinched Zhao Yanyan's chin. Wen Lu, who regarded her as a goddess, became angry instantly. He came over with a stern scolding and raised his hand to push Lin Yu aside. Roll. Dirty bugs. With a murderous look on her face, Lin Yu suddenly looked at Wen Lu, and the magnetic control exploded. The blood in Wen Lu's body ran at high speed. In an instant, large amounts of blood spurted out from the internal organs, and large amounts of blood mist sprayed out from the surface of the skin. At the same time, the whole person flew out and hit the wall directly outside Shumi. Bang! Crash! Large fonts were posted on the wall. Wen Lu's figure slipped and fell to the ground, his head tilted to the side. He was obviously dead. Dead. Blood mist splashed on the faces of Zhao Ziyong and several others. Immediately, they were all stunned. Their dull eyes looked behind them, where Wen Lu's body fell to the ground. Zhao Ziyong wiped his face subconsciously, his palms trembling. Looking at the blood of the orangutan in his hand, Zhao Ziyong felt cold from head to soul. Just now. What just happened? Why did that woman just glare at him and Wen Lu spurted blood all over his body and flew backwards? Died? Thinking of the strange situation in the hospital without any zombies, Zhao Ziyong was scared crazy. Not only Zhao Ziyong, Hua Ming'an, who was tall, thin, gentle and pretty, was also frightened and didn't dare to move. It wasn't that he didn't dare to move, but that he was so frightened that he couldn't control his feet at all. Can't move. Even if he could move, he didn't dare to move. What if he was stared to death like Wen Lu? He doesn't want to die yet. Zhao Yanyan's eyes were horrified. Although she was very disdainful of Wen Lu, a licking dog, she was scared when she saw him die instantly in front of her eyes. Terrified. The woman holding her chin in front of her was so terrifying. She is not human at all. How can a normal person be so scary? A single look can kill someone. Let me ask you again, is it still the first time? The voice was cold, and Lin Yu sounded a little impatient. If it weren't for the fact that this woman was beautiful and naturally looked like a fairy, she wouldn't have bothered to ask. Lin Yu actually wanted to dominate Lin Fan by herself, but she knew it was impossible. Besides, for 2 nights in a row, she really couldn't bear it anymore. The first day was okay, considering it was her first time. It only lasted 2 hours, but last night it was more than 3 hours, and her waist was almost broken. How can this master be so fierce? It's comfortable, but the pain in the back is real. A woman like Zhao Yanyan can still be used as a tool. Let's share the burden. The premise is whether this woman is qualified or not. Lin Yu didn't want to bring back all the rags. What if it tainted the Lord? Is such a messy woman worthy of being used by the Lord? So this question is very important. Shocked by fear in her heart, Zhao Yanyan nodded quickly, for fear of being slow, crushed to death. Exist. They're all still here. I don't like these men at all. They're all lickers. I am very clean. Zhao Yanyan is not a fool. Lin Yu asked this. Of course she knew what it meant, and she was extremely happy in her heart. Fortunately, she always used men as backup and did nothing. Otherwise, this woman might have killed her today. Yanyan, what are you talking about? How could it be this? Quarrel? The door was opened, and Li Siki rubbed her eyes and walked out. She was stunned when she saw the tense situation outside the door. Yanyan, what are you doing? Who is this woman? What happened to Wen Lu? Zhao Jiyoung, why do you have so much tomato juice on your face? The room was quiet. Zhao Jiyoung and others didn't dare to move. They looked at Li Siki, who came out with a cute look on her face. She complained in her heart and wanted to yell, "Don't come out. Go back quickly. It's dangerous outside," but they didn't dare because the woman had already turned her attention to Li Siki. Looking at Li Siki walking out of the room, Lin Yuyu nodded secretly. Compared with Zhao Yanyan, Li Siki looked more like the girl next door, looking very innocent. She has long, straight black hair, big watery eyes, and a petite figure, about 1.65 meters tall, but her figure is not bad at all, with bulging muscles that stretch out her clothes. And you? Or is it not the first time? What? Li Siki tilted her little head, looking even more silly and cute, as if she didn't understand the situation. Yes, sir, Siki is still very well behaved. Zhao Yanyan was afraid that Lin Yuyu would be angry, so she quickly answered for Li Siki, who didn't understand the situation. By the way, this is the first time that Mu Yuqing has a fever in the room. She has a high fever and can't answer. Sir, please don't be angry. Not only Li Siki, Zhao Yanyan also answered the question about Mu Yuqing, who was sleeping with high fever. It was so shocking that Lin Yuyu killed Wen Lu just now. She didn't want two good sisters to die without knowing it. Is that so? You'd better not lie to me, you can't afford the price. Lin Yuyu nodded, casually shook off Zhao Yanyan's chin, glanced at Zhao Yanyan and the two of them, and said in an unquestionable tone. You guys come with me. You are barely qualified to serve the Lord in washing and dressing. This is not a question, but an order. You are not qualified to refute, understand? In the room, Lin Yuyu saw Mu Yuqing, who was sleeping with fever. His facial features were exquisite and small. Between a drink and a peck, it seemed that he had been carefully carved by a skilled craftsman, with unique ingenuity and an intellectual charm. She found that in this house, the three women each had their own characteristics. Zhao Yanyan was naturally charming, Li Siki, the girl next door, was cute, and this Mu Yuqing, whose intellectual charm made people unable to take their eyes away. At this time, Mu Yuqing looked sick and pale, which made him even more pitiful. After asking Zhao Yanyan to give her some antipyretic medicine and get dressed, Lin Yuyu picked up Mu Yuqing. As for Zhao Yanyan and Li Siki, these two were not the same material. It would be good if they could walk on their own. Lin Yuyu didn't expect that. The two of them can hold Mu Yuqing. The three of them had no choice. Zhao Yanyan did not dare to try what would be the consequences of refusing. At this moment, the cute girl Li Siki also understood what had happened. She looked at Lin Yuyu with fearful eyes, and she dared not say a word, no. Lin Yuyu's intimidation was terrifying. Even after entering the room, the lingering power was still there. Zhao Jiyoung and the others were so frightened that they did not dare to move. They did not dare to fart until they saw Lin Yuyu leaving with their goddess Mu Yuqing in her arms. Until the backs of Lin Yuyu and others disappeared, several people collapsed to the ground as if the immobilizing spell had been released. Looking at the dead body of Wen Lu lying on the ground beside the wall, Zhao Jiyoung shivered. If it was him who came forward just now, he might be dead now. Afraid, fear, and not willing to give in, he watched Mu Yuqing being taken away with his own eyes, but he did not dare to resist. The thought of his goddess going to serve another man made Zhao Jiyoung feel as uncomfortable as a knife. The goddess he has never even held hands with is going to serve other men, dress and wash, and even have to. Just thinking about it made his heart burst. He is not willing to give in. Not only him, Hua Ming'an was also unwilling to give in. The flames of anger and jealousy almost burned out his sanity. He was so angry that his whole body was shaking. I cannot be reconciled. His eyes were filled with bloodshot eyes. Veins popped out on Zhao Jiyoung's forehead. He punched the chair with a muffled sound. Hua Ming'an, are you going to be a coward? Infuriated by Zhao Jiyoung, Hua Ming'an stared at him and growled. You don't have to provoke me, I swear. I will definitely rescue Qingqing. I'm going to the other survivors and I want revenge. I want revenge. I want to torture that woman severely. And that so-called lord. Die. All will die. The two people went crazy in the living room. The remaining two people were so scared that they trembled and did not dare to speak at all. On the roof next door, listening to the roar coming from the room, Lin Yuyu's face was cold, and there was a cold light in his eyes. Zhao Yanyan and Li Siki, who were standing nearby, were filled with fear. The murderous aura made them feel cold all over. It was obviously a hot summer day, but the cold seemed to be frozen to their bones. Carrying her, oh. Zhao Yanyan was shocked. She forced herself to tell Miu Yuqing that she didn't dare to look at what happened next. She almost hated those idiots in the house. What are you calling? You can't wait for others to go away. Are you screaming again? This is going to kill them. Lin Yuyu raised his arm and grabbed the air with his palm. Several zombies were caught out of thin air, and then under Lin Yuyu's control, they were thrown directly into the house. Looking at this terrifying scene, Zhao Yanyan and Li Siki's pupils widened. They had already thought of what would happen next. Why are there zombies? Where did the zombies come from? Run. Open the door. Open the door. Why can't his horse's door be opened? It hurts. I'm going to die. Screams came one after another, and Zhao Yanyan were trembling with fear. Devil. This woman is simply a devil. After doing all this, she felt that the breath of life inside disappeared. Lin Yuyu squeezed hard with her long fingers, as if she was pinching them out of thin air. Something exploded, and immediately after, the 3-story villa collapsed instantly. The horrific scene made the two women even more frightened. The scenes happening in front of them were beyond their understanding. This woman was like a demon coming out of hell, possessing super power of, and they are the prisoners of the devil. Turning around, Lin Yuyu's cold expression did not change, and her eyes swept over Zhao Yanyan. The two women shrank their heads with such a gaze that they did not dare to raise their heads at all. You'd better be obedient. The consequences of disobedience will not be any better than those of those people. I hope you will not bring about your own destruction. No. Won't. We will definitely be obedient. Yeah. We will definitely be obedient. We will definitely be very obedient. On the roof of the hospital, everything Lin Yuyu did could be seen clearly. Lin Fan pinched his chin and nodded secretly in his heart. He didn't know what happened in the process, but he saw the result. Lin Yuyu did a good job, eradicating the root and the source of everything. If it were him, he would do the same thing. Bring back all the women, but kill all the men. His men don't need men. He has superpowers and can even give himself superpowers to women. He doesn't need men at all to conquer the world. As for some tasks such as farming, they can be left to those women who have been kicked off, such as those who are ugly, old, or have who knows how many hands of broken shoes. These women cannot be kept in vain. To provide them with a safe environment and food, a corresponding price must be paid. Compared to other men or leaders of forces, Lin Fan feels that he is already very kind, doesn't he? He sacrificed his body and dignity for a piece of bread, lay naked on the ground to flatter him, and even became some kind of tool. Lin Fan really felt that his treatment was already very high. Seeing Lin Yuyu flying over from midair with 3 women, Lin Fan turned around and disappeared from the top of the building. Level 4 magnetic control can completely allow Lin Yuyu to achieve this level. He no longer needs to worry about it. The remaining dormitory area has not been cleaned yet. After cleaning this last piece, the hospital will be the real Pure Land in the apocalypse. The next step is to acquire new powers, strengthen the hospital, and continue to expand around it. All forces, big and small, are wiped out, and then they occupy the entire city, radiate across the country, and then the whole world. No one can stop him. After taking Zhao Yanyan and the 3 of them back to the campus, Lin Yuyu breathed a sigh of relief when they landed on the ground. She flew 700 to 800 meters with the 3 of them, which was still a lot of consumption for her. This is the Lord's territory, now you follow me. After Lin Yuyu finished speaking, she walked towards the supermarket. Zhao Yanyan looked at each other and followed Lin Yuyu. On the way, Miu Yu, who was being carried by Zhao Yanyan, woke up and looked at everything around her with blank eyes. Yanyan. Where are we? Why aren't you in the villa? Miu Yuqing is not heavy, but weighs more than 90 kilograms. It is very difficult for Zhao Yanyan to carry her on her back. Seeing Miu Yu wake up, Li Siki quickly told the story in a low voice, and Miu Yuqing was still a little confused. He looked stunned. as if he was listening to some fairy tale. In other words, we are no longer free, ahem, are we? Li Siki drooped her little head and nodded. Xing. Call. Do you blame me for making your decision? Call. Behind Mu Yueching's back, Zhao Yanyan asked in a confused tone. Let me down, I can go on my own. Mu Yueching's tone was weak but firm. Zhao Yanyan hesitated for a moment, bent down and put Mu Yueching down. Supported by Zhao Yanyan, Mu Yueching coughed twice, looked at Zhao Yanyan with soft eyes, and raised her hand to her. He stroked his face and said softly. How could I blame you? You are doing it for my own good, not to mention do we have a choice? It's not like you haven't seen the things on the internet. I just hope we don't become like that. Okay. Let's go, so as not to make the adult in front angry. Zhao Yanyan was startled and quickly looked ahead. Not far away, Lin Yuyu stopped at some point and looked at them with indifferent eyes. Lin Yuyu didn't say anything at all, which made the three nervous people. He breathed a sigh of relief and finally arrived in front of the supermarket. Taking the three of them up to the second floor, Lin Yuyu looked at the weak Mu Yueching and said, You go and rest first. I will come back with medicine and give you an injection later. As for you too. Speaking of this, Lin Yuyu looked at Zhao Yanyan and Li Siki. The two women whose names were called had their hearts in their throats. They looked at Lin Yuyu nervously, as if waiting for the judgment of fate. The task of the three of you is to serve the Lord every day, to dress, wash, and meet the Lord's other needs. It depends on whether the Lord cares about you. Mu Yueching's illness has not recovered, so it's just you two for the time being. Do you understand? Zhao Yanyan still has no arrogance when facing Zhao Ziyong and the others at this time. Like Li Siki, she nodded like a chicken eating rice, for fear of being too slow and causing Lin Yuyu's dissatisfaction. As long as you know. After Lin Yuyu finished speaking, she glanced at Zhao Wanqing, who was hesitant to speak next to her. Without saying a word, she turned and left the supermarket. She still had to prepare medicine. Mu Yueching couldn't stay sick, and it wasn't like she had invited an old man back. Looking at Lin Yuyu left without looking back, not to mention how depressed Zhao Wanqing was. It was just her second day here, and it was less than 24 hours before she could start her plan. Lin Yuyu directly brought back three women. How could this be fun? She has not yet reached the peak of her appearance, not to mention competing with Lin Yuyu. She can't compete with the three women brought back today. These three women each have their own characteristics, so what? Is that good? The future is dark. Ding. Kill zombies, score +1, magnet control experience +1. Current experience is 4,105 10,000ths. On the top floor of the dormitory area, the last zombie fell. Listening to the notification sound in his mind, Lin Fan couldn't help but breathe a sigh of relief. The entire hospital was finally completely cleaned, and there was no longer a single zombie left. Ding. After successfully cleaning up the hospital, the first foothold base was established, and the journey for hegemony officially started. The system will reward you with a random ability 1, points 1000, and your personal space will be upgraded to 5*5*5. Please keep up the good work. When I played, it wasn't that I had a problem, but I thought you had a problem. How can your system force me to fight for world domination? Although I originally wanted to, but with your points, I'm not easy to do things. Why is it only 1000? Lin Fan smacked his lips, feeling a little dissatisfied. My lord, you just occupied a hospital, so the reward is naturally not that much. When you occupy the entire city, the reward will be upgraded. Okay, that makes sense. In fact, this wave of rewards has really made a lot of money, mainly that ability. Any ability in the points mall starts at 10,000 points. He hasn't saved enough 10,000 points so far, and now it's all for nothing. I gave you a special ability, no matter what it is, overall, it's still great. System. Extract abilities for me. Ding. Abilities are being drawn. Congratulations, Lord, for gaining the power of controlling thunder and lightning. Thunder and lightning control. It seems pretty good. Although it's not one of those powers that easily start with 100,000 points, the lightning power is really powerful. It's destructive. Even Lin Fan is still thinking about what will happen if the power goes out in the future. Now, can he generate electricity directly? Ding. The ability extraction is complete. Do you want to fuse it? Fusion. I didn't even think about it. This must be fused. Take it out without fusion and keep it for the new year? A stream of lightning splashed on Lin Fan's head, blue lightning flashed and jumped in the hair, and thunder snakes radiated out, all over Lin Fan's head. Throughout his body, lightning transformed his body, enhancing his physique and making Lin Fan stronger. Ding! The fusion of lightning control abilities has been completed, and the current level is LV1. Sir, please note that the experience between abilities is not shared. Only by using the corresponding abilities to kill zombies can the experience be increased. The system's prompt tone echoed in his ears. Lin Fan was not surprised. He had even expected it. The system had mentioned this before. Open your personal panel. Character, Lin Fan Strength, 54. Agility, 58 Intelligence, 70 Physique, 69 points, 5,621. Ability, Magnetic Field Control LV6, Lightning Control LV1. Experience, 4,105 10,000ths, 0 tenths possessed items, Flying Knife 100. The four-dimensional attributes have increased a bit, of which intelligence and physique are the most important. If the body is heavy and the physique is not strong enough, it cannot carry the powerful force in the body. The agility has also increased a lot. It should be because the lightning speed is fast. In terms of experience, the magnetic field control experience is about to pass halfway, and the more experience behind it is the new supernatural lightning control experience. Just like the previous magnetic field control, you need to kill 10 zombies to advance to L2. Because of the 1,000 points just awarded, the points have reached close to 6,000. The flying knives were replenished by 40, totaling 100. Lin Yu also replenished the number from the previous 3 to 30, consuming 670 points. But it's all worth it. Spreading his palms, lightning was raging and thunder exploded. Lin Fan could feel the violent destructive power in the thunder. Compared with magnetic control, lightning control was more cunning and focused on the destructive power. Thunder and lightning represent the power of destruction, and this is understandable. Clenching his palms tightly and extinguishing the lightning, Lin Fan looked up at the sky. When would his lightning power become so powerful that in a single thought, the color of the sky and the earth would change, thunderclouds would fill the sky, and the sky would change? Lin Fan believes that that day must not be far away. Lin Fan jumped down from the dormitory building. Lightning flashed in his hair. Lin Fan's figure jumped out directly. The dense lightning behind him stretched into a long arc, and the thunder exploded, sounding like thunder, as if thunder was traveling in the world. Although he is only level 1, he has a foundation of magnetic control. Lin Fan has sufficient mental strength and can completely control the lightning and sprint. This is his foundation. Even upgrading is very simple. It does not need to be the same as when it was only controlled by magnetic force. After using it for a long time, I felt dizzy and lacked mental strength. Lin Fan has laid the foundation, and even the newly acquired level 1 superpower can display terrifying power. Amidst the roar of thunder and lightning, Lin Fan's weak thunder dragon flew through the air at high speed. Wherever it passed, the space was distorted and gave off a burning smell. The thunder and lightning was not only powerful in destructive power, but also carried terrifying heat. Flying against the thunder, Lin Fan flew in the sky for a while, then turned around and headed straight for the supermarket. He should also see what women Lin Yu brought back and see if they could catch his eye. What sound? Is it thundering outside? Listening to the rumble of thunder coming from outside, Li Siki glanced outside in confusion. It was clearly a sunny day. Why did it suddenly thunder? Do not talk. Zhao Yanyan pulled Li Siki and shook her head at her. People under the eaves should be careful about their words and deeds. To be honest, Lin Yu frightened her too much. Li Siki glanced at Lin, who had his back turned to her. Yu spat out her sweet tongue and quickly covered her cheek. After taking the anti-fever injection, she threw the syringe into the trash can. Looking at Mu Yuqing, who had zipped up her pants, Lin Yu said calmly, 38.9, the temperature is not too high. I took antipyretics and got an injection. The fever should subside soon. You should have a good rest. Mu Yuqing's face was slightly rosy, and she nodded slightly. Thank you, sir. There is no need to thank me. Remember your mission. If it is not for the Lord, your life and death have nothing to do with me. Turn around and look at Zhao Yanyan and Li Siki. When Lin Yu looked at them, the two women became nervous instantly and their breathing became much more careful. You two, come out with me to meet the Lord. Although I don't know what happened with the thunder just now, Lin Fan's aura cannot be faked. The aura that has the same origin as hers. As soon as it appeared, Lin Yu knew that Lin Fan was back. That Lord is back. This thought came to mind simultaneously. The two women looked at each other and nodded quickly. Yes, sir. Remember, the Lord's attitude towards you will directly affect how you will be treated. You are all smart people, so I shouldn't need to say more. Yes, we understand. That's best. On the second floor, Lin Fan had just walked up. Zhao Wanqing, who had been in a state of uneasiness, saw his figure. As if she had found a backbone, Zhao Wanqing hurriedly greeted him. Lord, you are back and here are the slippers. Kneel down on the ground, pick up the slippers and put them on Lin Fan. Zhao Wanqing never thought that one day, she would do what only neon women would do, kneel down in the entrance hall to change her man's shoes. Now she has done it. She was also afraid that Lin Fan would be dissatisfied and worry about gains and losses. There was no way. Lin Yu, the main palace, was too powerful and put a lot of pressure on her. It was even better now. I went out and brought back 3 people with different characteristics, and their appearance was no worse than before the Doomsday. Her woman, how can she sit still? If she doesn't work hard, she might even have trouble seeing Lin Fan. Let Zhao Wanqing change her shoes. Look down at Zhao Wanqing kneeling in front of her, and look at the curved arc. Lin Fan was a little confused. Why did he feel that Zhao Wanqing seemed plumper? If you didn't look at her face, she would look like a killer from behind. Is it an illusion? Lord, I'm going to get you some water. After changing her shoes, Zhao Wanqing hurriedly went to fetch some warm water. At a glance, Lin Fan unexpectedly discovered that Zhao Wanqing looked a little prettier today. Lin Fan felt something was wrong. What's going on? He got a new superpower and was feeling rejection. Did you react? Your eyes are not working properly? System, am I okay now? Just after integrating the lightning control, is there something wrong with your body? My lord, you are in good health and there is nothing abnormal about you. It's strange. Lord, wash your hands. In a daze, his hand was pulled over, and Zhao Wanqing wiped it carefully. Looking at Zhao Wanqing closely, the amazing feeling deepened. Lin Fan thought in his mind and probably made a guess. When we first met, Zhao Wanqing was so hungry that she could hardly walk. Now that nutrition has been provided, maybe Zhao Wanqing looks good after recovery, so it is not that there is something wrong with him, but that Zhao Wanqing is in the recovery stage. Thinking this way, Lin Fan felt much more enlightened. A room on the second floor opened, and Lin Yu and Li Siki walked out. Her cold face instantly thawed, and she walked to Lin Fan with an intoxicating smile. My lord, I went out this time and brought you back. The two of them, the one on the left is Zhao Yanyan, the one on the right is Li Siki, and there is Mu Yuqing who has a fever in the room. Look, they help you dress and wash every day. Is that okay? He looked at the two women in front of him carefully. Lin Fan didn't know what to say. Is this okay? Is this more than okay? The one on the left, Zhao Yanyan, was charming, naturally charming, and had a charming aura all over her body. The one on the right, Li Siki, was pure and lovely, as charming as the girl next door. As for the one with a fever inside, Lin Fan didn't see it, but just looked at these two. You know that Mu Yuqing's appearance in it is definitely not bad. People of the same species flock together, and things are divided into groups. It is difficult to get together if the difference in appearance is too big. Such a woman, before the end of the world, just pick any one of them, and there are many licking dogs who want to lick the goddess. In the past, he could only look at her. Under the aura induction, both women are relatively pure, although I don't know if this is the first time. They have not been in contact with a man for at least half a year. They are not bad for being used as maids for dressing and washing. If nothing else, just this look. It's worth watching it every day, it will make you feel good. Without lingering on the two women, Lin Fan pulled Lin Yu over, lowered his head and kissed her. I saw everything you did this time, it was very good. Even if I were here, I wouldn't be any better than you. With such a performance, I can rest assured. Lord, I checked, it's their first time. Close to Lin Fan's ear, Lin Yu seemed to be afraid that he would be uneasy, so she explained the situation of the three women in a low voice. Have you checked? Lin Fan had a question mark on his head, while Zhao Yanyan and Zhao Yanyan lowered their heads with expressions of confusion on their faces. Just now not only was Mu Yuqing given a fever-reducing injection, this was also the first time they had ever experienced such a thing. You too, serve the Lord, Zhao Wanqing, go cook. An hour later, Zhao Wanqing had already finished cooking. Neither Lin Yuyu nor Zhao Wanqing moved their chopsticks. They were obviously waiting for Lin Fan to take a seat. Stop standing around and eat together. In a good mood, Lin Fan pointed to the seat next to him and motioned for Zhao Yanyan and the two of them to sit down. Zhao Yanyan and Li Siki glanced at Lin Yuyu subconsciously. Lin Yuyu frowned and said with an evil look, "Here, the Lord is the biggest and obeys unconditionally. The Lord's order is everything, including me. It is the Lord's private property. If there is a next time, get out." Zhao Yanyan and Li Siki were frightened and hurriedly sat down. However, their backs were straight and they only dared to pick up food from the food in front of them. Eat normally. Knocking on the table, Lin Fan glanced at the two women. Zhao Yanyan and Zhao Wanqing glanced at Zhao Wanqing subconsciously. Seeing that she was eating no differently than usual, they also relaxed. We are all of the same class. Since you can be so relaxed, then of course it's okay. After dinner, Zhao Wanqing and the three girls were clearing the table, while Lin Yuyu was tired of being in Lin Fan's arms. She didn't look as cold and majestic as she did in front of Zhao Yanyan and the others. Playing with Lin Yuyu's white and tender little hands, Lin Fan lowered his head. He kissed Lin Yuyu's cheek and said, "The hospital has been completely cleaned up. You did a beautiful job today. I have seen it. You eradicated the roots and eliminated the evil without giving any chance for it to reappear. This is very good. You make me feel at ease like this. A lot." Rubbing Lin Fan's neck, Lin Yuyu was like a clingy kitten, chasing and kissing Lin Fan. The Lord said before that kindness to the enemy is cruelty to oneself. In the apocalypse, human nature is too dark, and those people's words also completely strengthened my heart. Those people actually want to take revenge, so they must die. Creatures like men are too dangerous. Except for the Lord, all of them must be killed. This will save a lot of fights. No matter how many intrigues women have, they will not be able to reach the level of elegance. Damn, the Lord is powerful and doesn't need a man at all. I was a little worried before, fearing that the Lord would say I was too cold, but now Yuyu is relieved. Smelling the fragrance in the hair, Lin Fan lowered his head and kissed Lin Yuyu on the forehead. Silly girl, just think wildly. After clearing away the dishes, Zhao Wanqing felt envious as she looked at Lin Fan and Lin Fan hugging each other on the sofa. The sound of footsteps behind her woke her up, and her face changed slightly. Zhao Wanqing quickly walked to Lin Fan and the two of them, and said respectfully, "My lord, I have something to tell you." Holding Lin Yuyu in his arms, Lin Fan raised his head and asked, "What's the matter? Just tell me." Zhao Wanqing didn't hesitate, turned around, took out a drone from the room, and placed it in front of Lin Fan. "What's the meaning? My lord, I got this from the supermarket below. I know that your spirit is not limited to the hospital, so today I used a drone to check around the hospital, hoping to help my lord." Zhao Wanqing did not lie, but she had some selfish motives. She did not have Lin Yuyu's powerful ability, and her appearance had not yet recovered, so she could only make achievements in other areas. The arrival of Zhao Yanyan and the others gave her a huge sense of crisis. She originally planned to wait, but now she had to take it out. Unfortunately, the time was too short. After searching with a drone for most of the day, she luckily found a place where survivors gathered. "Oh, so what did you find?" Lin Fan glanced at Zhao Wanqing in surprise. This woman is very enterprising and far-sighted. When Lin Fan asked, Zhao Wanqing's eyes flashed with excitement, "My lord," through the camera device installed on the drone. After searching again and again, my subordinates discovered that there were people moving on the top floor of Dahua Mall in the distance, but it was unclear how many people there were. Due to time constraints, my subordinates have only discovered survivors on the top floor of Dahua Shopping Mall, and have not found others yet. My lord, look, this is the image returned by the drone. Zhao Wanqing took out her phone, unlocked it, and clicked on a video. She looked at the picture on the phone with interest. The pixels were quite clear. The camera kept moving slowly, as if she was looking for something. At first, there was nothing discovered, but soon, The camera locked on a commercial building, and then the camera quickly zoomed in, and finally saw it clearly. On the top floor of the commercial building, there were figures shaking, a lot of them, including men and women, each of them neatly dressed, and his complexion was rosy, and he didn't look like he had experienced the apocalypse at all, and he didn't have any sallow complexion caused by lack of food. Thinking about where the other party was, all this made sense. After all, he was eating and wearing clothes in a shopping mall. Worry, even because of the arrival of the Doomsday. Everything is free, and these people can use it at will. Just when Lin Fan was watching the video, he suddenly found someone in the shopping mall looking over and watching the other person's movements. Lin Fan was slightly startled. Have you discovered it? Think about it. A target as big as a drone is flying in the air. As long as you are careful, it can be easily discovered. But if you find it, you will find it, so what? He handed the phone to Zhao Wanqing, nodded to her, and praised. Well done. What reward do you want? I can agree to anything that's not too much. The hospital has been cleaned up. Lin Fan is bound to go out. Whether it is to improve his strength or to get rewards from the system, even if there are no rewards, he will not stop at the hospital. Although Zhao Wanqing's discovery is not of great help, but at least he was given a clear goal, and he would not be stingy with rewards. If there were no rewards at all, where would the motivation come from? In response to Lin Fan's promise, Zhao Wanqing bit her thin lips and said softly, My lord, my subordinates are temporarily. I haven't thought about it yet. Can you stay for now? Wait until you think about it before asking for it? Zhao Wanqing made up her mind. Now she has no advantage in appearance. This reward request was hard won. It will be difficult to get the reward after using it this time. That's fine, you can come back to me when you think about it. Good. Thank you, Lord. Lin Fan was unexpectedly easy to talk to, which made Zhao Wanqing extremely grateful. She was afraid that Lin Fan would not agree to her request, but luckily Lin Fan agreed. As long as you are obedient, I will not treat you badly. Having said this, Lin Fan looked at Zhao Yanyan next to him. The same goes for you, including Li Siki in the room and Mu Yuqing who has a fever. Mu Yuqing is still having a fever, and Li Siki is taking care of her and feeding her, so Zhao Yanyan is the only one waiting outside. Lin Fan's promise made Zhao Yanyan, who was frightened today, grateful. After waving his hand, Lin Fan said, You go and rest first. You are not needed here for the time being. I will call you if necessary. Zhao Wanqing didn't say much. She took the drone and left. She should have continued to explore if there were any other survivors around. As for Zhao Yanyan, she didn't leave. She stood by and faithfully performed her duties as a maid. My lord, are you planning to go to Dahua commercial building tomorrow? Looking up from Lin Fan's arms, Lin Yuyu's expression became serious when talking about business. Right. Without any intention of hiding anything, Lin Fan said bluntly. How can we allow others to sleep soundly on the side of the bed? It's getting late today. I'll go over and take over there tomorrow. On the 12th floor of Dahua commercial building, Mu Kanghai stood in front of the floor-to-ceiling window, with his back to the door, overlooking the vast sea of corpses below. The mist was lingering and the smoke was drifting away. Mu Kanghai pinched out the eyes in his hand, feeling a little worried in his heart. After getting up under the service of his secretary this morning, Mu Kanghai routinely stood in front of the floor-to-ceiling windows and looked down. This has become one of his daily pleasures. The arrival of the Doomsday did not have much impact on him, and his life was even more nourishing than before the Doomsday. Now he can do whatever he wants. He holds huge power in this commercial building. More than 70 survivors must obey his arrangements and act based on his expression. No one else, because he has a gun. There are people too. He is the uncrowned king in this shopping mall. When the apocalypse first broke out, he restrained himself, but after it was confirmed that the country had no spare power to rescue him, he acted more and more unscrupulously. No woman he fell in love with could escape his grasp. Those who rejected him had been thrown downstairs to feed the zombies in public. From then on, no woman dared to refuse, and no man was disobedient. But today, he had no interest in playing with women, just because of the drone he saw in the morning. Mu Kanghai didn't take it seriously at first, but when he discovered that the drone was observing him, he suddenly realized the seriousness of the problem. Someone is actually spying on him. Who is that person? What do you want to do? How many people are there on the other side? Questions like this kept popping up in his mind, which made him very anxious and didn't even want to eat. Click. The door of the office was pushed open, and a middle-aged man with Chinese characters and a fierce look walked in. He glanced at Mu Kanghai, who was standing next to the floor-to-ceiling window. I said, "Lao Hai, are you still thinking about what happened in the morning?" Hearing the voice from behind, Mu Kanghai turned his head, looked at the middle-aged man who walked in, and sighed, "Yes, I always feel a little uneasy in my heart." Mu Kanghai looked forward and backward, looking worried. Zheng Yugong felt contempt in his heart. He wanted to occupy the mountain and become the king, but he was also afraid of this and that. When you were playing with women and bullying ordinary people, why didn't you think about this? If it weren't for Mu Kanghai's hands, he had a gun and someone, so it was not easy to fall out. He had already kicked away the pig teammate who was holding him back. Before the end, he received a call from Mu Kanghai, saying that there was an accident here and that there was a madman biting people. He took the people they came over, but they didn't know it was not an ordinary incident, but a zombie crisis. Now, they were trapped in the commercial building. Fortunately, he still had some deterrence from his subordinates. Under his organization, the people in the commercial building carried out there was effective resistance, but of course many people were infected in the process and became members of the zombies. After everyone's unremitting efforts, the zombies were finally controlled below the 7th floor. The stairs were completely blocked by various debris, blocking the way. Cut off the way for the zombies to come up, and then with the gun in his hand, he formed an alliance with Mu Kanghai and ruled the entire commercial building. People can change, especially without moral and legal constraints, facing all kinds of things tempted by the temptation. Several of Zheng Yugong's team members quickly gave up their persistence and began to help the tyrants. They had no worries about food and drink, and there were women to play with. In the apocalypse, everyone was completely indulged. Today's Dahua commercial building is composed of Zheng Yugong and Mu. No one in Kanghai dared to be disobedient. Zheng Yugong despised Mu Kanghai's worried look, but everyone was just a grasshopper on the same rope. Zheng Yugong shook his head, pointed at the sea of corpses below and said, "Look, those zombies down there, do you think they will let humans come up? Not to mention there are at least nearly 1,000 zombies below the 7th floor. Even if someone covets our shopping mall, they have to get through the zombies first. Besides the army, who do you think can get past so many zombies and come to cause us trouble? Unless the other party has wings and can fly." Zheng Yugong's words obviously had an effect. Looking at the dense zombies outside, Mu Kanghai shook his head. He felt that his worries were unfounded. Putting down the burden in his heart, Mu Kanghai suddenly felt hungry in his belly. He had been anxious today. "I haven't eaten much, so now that I'm relieved, I naturally feel hungry and uncomfortable. Walk around, go eat, and when you're full, be sure to torture those women and vent your frustration." Mu Kanghai greeted Zheng Yugong and hurried to the door. "No problem, brother, I have made arrangements for you a long time ago. Let's have an unobstructed conference today." "Good brother, you are still thoughtful." The two of them exchanged words with each other, walked out arm in arm, and completely forgot about the drone. That's how it was. There were thousands of corpses below, and they wanted to take advantage of them. You have to ask the zombies below first, otherwise, unless they can fly, don't even think about it. But the two of them could not imagine that Lin Fan could really fly. In the hospital supermarket, they finalized their plans to go to the Dahua commercial building tomorrow. Lin Fan put his arms around Lin Yu, and the two played video games for a while. When the time reached 8 o'clock in the evening, they put down the controller and prepared to rest. In the room, Zhao Yanyan had already laid the floor. She and Li Siki slept on the floor at night. This was Lin Yu's order. They should be responsible for certain matters at any time. For example, if Lin Fan was thirsty at night, they would have to pour water. When Lin Fan woke up, they had to get up immediately to dress and wash him. In normal times, nightlife has just started at 8 o'clock. Lin Fan would definitely not go to bed so early, but it is different now. Is the game as fun as Lin Yu? Is the TV as good as Lin Yu? What are you waiting for if you haven't slept yet? Come here, you two. I don't know how long it took, but Lin Yu's tired voice came out. The two women froze, and then walked up obediently. Taking the mirror next to them, looking at the slightly recovered face, Zhao Wanqing was sure, at most half a month, she can return to her appearance before the end. When the time comes, no one can stop her from becoming Lin Fan's woman. The sun sets and rises again. Lin Fan opens his eyes. He had a lot of fun last night, looking at the woman sleeping in his arms. Lin Yu lowered her head and kissed her lovingly before getting up. A slight noise woke up the two girls, Zhao Yanyan and Zhao Yanyan, who were sleeping on the floor. When they saw Lin Fan getting up, the two girls got up and helped Lin Fan get dressed regardless of the trauma. Fan walked out. In the living room, Zhao Wanqing had already prepared breakfast. The cakes baked by her own hands were very fragrant, and were paired with several bagged side dishes. Lin Fan's appetite was whetted. "Lord, are you going to Dahua Commercial Building today?" Lin Fan took the paper towel and wiped his face, nodded and said, "I plan to go there and take a look. If conditions permit, I will bring some people back. We can't always eat bagged food in the supermarket. I plan to let some women cultivate the fields, grow some vegetables to eat, and fruits and so on. Eating packaged food every day, including canned beef, braised chicken, and luncheon meat, is not a problem. Fresh vegetables are the way to go." That. "Lord, be careful. Zhao Wanqing is worried. Even though she has seen how powerful Lin Fan is, she is not afraid of anything less than 10,000. She doesn't want anything to happen to Lin Fan." With a startled expression, she saw the worried look on Zhao Wanqing's face, and Lin Fan smiled and said, "Don't worry, those people can't hurt me yet, but I will pay attention. I haven't enjoyed enough of the good life." Leaving the supermarket and identifying the direction, Lin Fan jumped up, thunder flashed and thunder exploded, and headed straight for the Dahua Commercial Building. In mid-air, Lin Fan scratched his head as he looked at the massive zombies wandering on the street below. The outside is different from the inside of the hospital. There are densely packed zombies everywhere. When the time comes to clean it up, there will be endless waves, which is very troublesome. While thinking, Lin Fan has arrived at the rooftop of Dahua Commercial Building. Standing on the rooftop and looking down on the street below, Lin Fan discovered a problem. Why were there so many zombies around the Dahua Commercial Building? Moreover, these zombies seem to be gathering here purposefully. Why? Is it because there are living people here? Lin Fan didn't know. Clearly and keeping this conjecture in mind, Lin Fan turned around and walked down the rooftop. Boom! The earth and rocks shattered, and a huge hole was opened in the ground of the rooftop. After fanning the flying smoke and dust, Lin Fan jumped directly down the big hole. Nothing. The solution is that the door to the rooftop is locked. Instead of kicking the door hard, it is better to be more direct. The arrogant kick was so powerful that the whole commercial building seemed to shake slightly. The sudden loud noise destroyed the dreams of countless people. In a certain room, Mu Kanghai was awakened by a loud noise and pushed away the woman next to him. He was still a little confused due to his hangover and the all-night party. He didn't know what happened for a while. He hurriedly got dressed and pushed away. He opened the door and happened to meet Zheng Yugong, who was also disheveled. "Yugong, what was the sound just now? Did you hear it? I still wanted to ask you, but a sudden sound scared me awake." Just when the two of them were looking at each other in confusion, a man ran over in a panic. "Team. Captain, someone came down from the roof." Boom. The early morning rumble shook the entire top floor of the Dahua Commercial Building. The huge roar woke up everyone in their sleep. The first person to bear the brunt was the room where Lin Fan fell. "What? Who?" Swiping away the dust in front of his eyes, Lin Fan walked down from the pile of rocks, looked at the panicked man and woman in the room, glanced casually, and said in a loud voice, "It's so small." As for women, Lin Fan took one look and didn't care. She didn't look very good and had an average figure. Even if she wasn't wearing any clothes, Lin Fan couldn't be interested in her. His appetite made Lin Yu and Zhao Yanyan even more interested. A few people were being naughty. In the room, hearing Lin Fan shaking his head and commenting, the man's face suddenly darkened. "Who are you? Get out of here quickly. Believe it or not, I will throw you out to feed the zombies." He Miao had a ruthless look on his face and a fierce look in his eyes. He growled at Lin Fan while picking up the clothes next to him and putting them on hastily. He raised his eyebrows. This was the first time since he woke up that Lin Fan heard this. Others said they were going to throw him to feed the zombies, but did he look like a weak chicken? Lin Fan fell into deep thought. He put his clothes on randomly, looking at Lin Fan who looked calm and without any fear. He Miao felt in his heart his anger grew even stronger. After the apocalypse, when had he ever been so angry? Ever since he colluded with the Captain Zheng Yugong, with the police gun in his hand, who among the survivors of the Dahua commercial building did not respect him respectfully. Whoever is unhappy is the same. He was punching and kicking, and he wanted to play with which woman he wanted to play with. This was much more comfortable than before the apocalypse. Someone dared to challenge him now. Do you really think his gun was vegetarian? He opened the cabinet, took out the pistol, and skillfully opened the safety. He Miao looked ferocious, pointed his gun at Lin Fan's head in the air, and shouted. Do you know what this is? Aren't you crazy? Are you crazy about me? Bang! The door was knocked open, and several figures rushed in. Looking at the situation in the room, the few people who rushed in were stunned. Lao Miao, what's going on? Lu Bao, who was the first to rush in, had the best relationship with He Miao. Looking at the big hole on the roof, he was very confused. Grass. You ask me, how did I know that I was sleeping well, and this guy suddenly fell down from above and taunted me? It just so happened that some people were not very honest these days. Today I will use this guy to establish his power and let those men know. Anyone who disobeys will die. He Miao's tone was harsh, and he was very annoyed. Lu Bao looked Lin Fan over. He always felt a little strange. Does this man have a brain defect? Or was he already frightened? He was not afraid of being pointed at a gun. Don't you think this is a fake gun? Lu Bao felt that something was wrong. Where did the hole on the roof come from? If you want to open such a big hole, you must at least use explosives, right? Lu Bao felt uneasy. He hesitated and took a few steps back, with a calm expression on his face. Being pointed at a gun, Lin Fan didn't feel scared at all. It's just a pistol, so what if I give you a sniper rifle? Can you hurt me? Scan the people who rushed in. After a few glances, Lin Fan turned his gaze back to He Miao. You want to throw me out to feed the zombies? Right. I will throw you out to feed the zombies right now. Seemingly confident, He Miao walked towards Lin Fan with the gun raised. He never thought about Lin Fan's resistance. Under normal circumstances, who would dare to move when a gun is pointed at him? Do you really think that the head is harder than a bullet? He Miao is not. He was born in the police academy. Although his character is corrupt now, he still has some skills. He can easily take down one or two people. He is not afraid of Lin Fan at all. Seeing He Miao walking towards him, Lin Fan shook his head. Speaking of which, I haven't tried it yet. How does it feel to lose a person to zombies? I'll try it on you today. With that said, Lin Fan walked up to meet He Miao, which confused several people present. Is this man cerebral palsy? He Miao had a gun in his hand. He Miao, the person involved, also felt that something was wrong. No, what the hell, he has a gun in his hand. The kid in front of him actually said that he wanted to use him to try the feeling of throwing people to zombies. Where is this lunacy? Are you really not afraid of death? Good. 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 Boy. You really have courage. Looking at Lin Fan walking over, He Miao's anger rose, and he grabbed Lin Fan with a grab. Just when everyone thought that the matter was over, the situation that was originally a sure thing, suddenly changed strangely. You were pretending to be your own horse. Looking at the captured He Miao, Lin Fan went up and slapped He Miao staggering, then grabbed the stunned He Miao like a chicken. Puff! Zhang Shu spat out a few bloody teeth. He Miao's eyes were filled with bloodshot eyes, the left side of his face was swollen, and the 5 fingerprints were so obvious. The muzzle of the gun was pressed against Lin Fan's head, and He Miao roared. I will destroy you. Boom. Ah! It hurts me to death. The gunshot echoed, followed by He Miao's painful roar. His whole right hand was dripping with blood, and the pistol fell to the side. Lu Bao and others were stunned. He Miao's pistol exploded? Didn't they see the gun in front of them? The man was beaten to death, but his own hand was blown up and dripping with blood. Soon, Lu Bao discovered something was wrong. At such a close distance, He Miao's hand was almost blown apart by the explosion of the pistol. Why did this man do nothing? None. He didn't even blink, and his expression was still so calm. Something was wrong. Something was very wrong. Boy, let go of He Miao quickly. Your kid has never died, right? Several people in the room came to their senses and rushed forward one after another, swearing and swearing, without taking Lin Fan seriously. Lu Bao did not follow, and even retreated. He felt that what happened this morning was full of weirdness, and he wanted to be on the safe side. He thought it was better to inform Zheng Yugong first. Lu Bao ran away, and Lin Fan didn't pay attention. He looked at the men who were shouting and scolding, with disdain flashing in his eyes. The man in front flew directly backwards. Boom! A large human-shaped hole was knocked out of the wall, and lightning flashed next to the hole. In an instant, the whole room became quiet, and even He Miao's screams stopped. Frightened. Everyone in the room had a look of horror in their eyes, and their whole bodies were cold. They didn't understand. What just happened? Why did Hu Feng, who was rushing at the front, fly away? And he also knocked out such a big hole in the wall. Hole. What did the unknown man in front of them do? Combined with the exploding incident just now, they all understood where He Miao's gun exploded. It was clearly this man who had done something. You? What did you just say? A chill arose in my heart. Being stared at by Lin Fan, several people present shook their heads. Without. Nothing. Yes, it's nothing. I suddenly remembered that the captain wanted to ask me for something. My girlfriend is about to give birth, so I'm leaving first. Several people retreated one after another. They were all afraid of death, and even more afraid of being bounced away by Lin Fan. It was so terrifying. What happened today had shattered their outlook on life, and they didn't want to stay for a moment. Did I let you go? Looking sideways at the few people who were about to leave, Lin Fan had a sarcastic look on his face. They were all very brave just now, but now they are scared. Do you want to leave? Their faces were pale, and the three of them were trembling with fear. They were like chaff. Lin Fan He Miao was paralyzed with fright. His face was ashen and he didn't react at all. If he wasn't still alive, Lin Fan would have doubted whether he was frightened to death. In the corridor outside the door, Lu Bao almost stopped breathing. His heart almost exploded. Almost, just almost, if he had walked one step faster, he would have just been knocked away by Hu Feng, who suddenly flew out. With a stiff neck, Lu Bao looked at the big bang that hit the wall. He almost collapsed to the ground, but fortunately, he stabilized. He knew that things were not that simple, and sure enough, his guess was right. Ignoring the weakness, Lu Bao ran forward in a panic. He is going to inform Zheng Yugong that this matter is no longer something he can solve. If it is not handled well, they may all die. Zheng Yugong's room is not far from here, and Lu Bao saw the disheveled clothes from a dozen meters away. Zheng Yugong and Mu Kanghai, who had just walked out of the room, immediately shouted, "Captain, team leader, something big happened. A man came down from the roof of the building, and I suspect that the man has some superpowers, or that he can transform people." Lu Bao was out of breath as he ran over. Zheng Yugong and Mu Kanghai were confused. "What did you say?" "It's too late to explain. Captain, please go over and take a look. If this matter is not resolved, we may have to finish it." Zheng Yugong's heart skipped a beat. He looked at Mu Kanghai and said, "Let's go quickly and talk as we go." Going straight to He Miao's room, listening to Lu Bao's narration, Zheng Yugong and Mu Kanghai had sullen faces. If things were as Lu Bao said, today's matter would be very difficult to handle. The distance was not that far. The three of them arrived in a short while, but there were a lot of people at the scene. Not only Zheng Yugong's men, but several of Mu Kanghai's bodyguards were also present, as well as many survivors who came over. He was carrying he who looked like a dead dog. Meow. Lin Fan looked at the zombies downstairs. Although he had expected it, he still felt a little numb when he looked at the densely packed, black heads below. There were too many. At least several thousand. Looking at these zombies below, Lin Fan more and more confirmed a certain suspicion in his heart. "Team leader, boss." The voice was a bit noisy. Lin Fan came back to his senses and looked at the two people coming over after separating from the crowd. Coupled with the names of the people around him, he understood that these two people should be the people in power here. Just when Lin Fan looked at Zheng Yugong and the two at that time, Zheng Yugong and Mu Kanghai were also looking at Lin Fan, especially He Miao, who was being carried in his hands. "Little brother, we have something to talk about. Can we talk?" "Talk?" Raising his eyebrows and looking at Zheng Yugong, Lin Fan raised his eyebrows and flicked his right hand. He Miao, who was caught in his hand, was hanging directly outside the railing. There was a dense group of corpses dozens of meters below his feet. No, 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 don't want, Captain, save me, help me, I don't want to die. He Miao was horrified, with tears streaming down his face. Now he finally knew what it was like for those who were thrown away. He was furious. Lin Fan's actions undoubtedly meant that he was not taken seriously. Zheng Yugong endured it. Angry, he said pleasantly, "Little brother, I think." Ah! The smile on Zheng Yugong's face froze, his eyes widened, and he stared blankly at Lin Fan's empty right hand. The shrill scream was like a huge slap on his face. Looking at the middle-aged man in front of him with a sarcastic expression, Lin Fan turned to look downstairs. The dense sea of corpses instantly swallowed up the thrown He Miao, just like a drop of water dropped into the sea without causing any ripples. Is this what it feels like to drop a living person? Really boring. With a calm tone, Lin Fan turned to look at Zheng Yugong and asked, "What did you just say? Want to talk to me?" If he hadn't heard some news from Lu Bao that made him unsure of Lin Fan's depth, he would definitely draw his gun and blow Lin Fan's head off right now. Throw his people out to feed the zombies in front of him. This simply does not take him seriously. He swore that after he found out the details of Lin Fan, if it was not too difficult to chew, he would definitely kill Lin Fan. Taking a deep breath, Zheng Yugong retracted the smile on his face and said sternly with a straight face. He nodded and said, "Yes, I think we need to talk about it." "Do you deserve it?" "Me?" Zheng Yugong was so angry that he almost burst a blood vessel in his brain. He is so stupid that he doesn't treat him as a human being. Are you worthy? What contempt is this? Now go call all you women out and give you 5 minutes. Zheng Yugong was so angry that the 3 corpses jumped, but Lin Fan didn't feel anything. He didn't think there was anything wrong with what he said. Who is Zheng Yugong trash? Talk to him. Are you qualified? Why, just with those broken guns? Are you scared? It's enough to scare ordinary people, but he doesn't take it seriously. Hearing Lin Fan's orders, Zheng Yugong laughed angrily. This was the first time he saw someone dare to be so crazy in front of him. Click. The pistol was loaded, and Zheng Yugong raised the gun. Pointing at Lin Fan, in an instant, several of the men present raised their guns, along with several of Mu Kanghai's bodyguards. "Young man, you are very crazy, although I don't know how you used to blow up He Miao's gun, but it doesn't matter. So what if you can blow up one gun? So many guns, you. Damn it." Looking at his empty hands, Zheng Yugong's eyes widened, and he immediately said a classic national curse. Before he could finish pretending, the gun flew away. Not only him, but also several of his team members, including Mu Kanghai's all the bodyguards had their guns taken off their hands. For a moment, everyone was stunned. A total of 9 guns floated in front of Lin Fan. They looked at Zheng Yugong and the others with a sarcastic expression. Lin Fan smiled and said, "Say, why didn't you say anything? Do you have the ability to continue?" Following Lin Fan's words, the 9 guns slowly turned their direction, and the black muzzles were aimed at their master. Zheng Yugong broke into a cold sweat when the gun was aimed at his head. Damn it. You had such awesome abilities. You should have told me earlier. Aren't you cheating on me? Don't. No, no, little brother, if you have something to say, say it well, say it well. We all listen to you. Put your gun down first. Zheng Yugong was frightened instantly. No matter who has a gun pointed at his head, he can't be strong. He is afraid of death, he is very afraid of death. I said, call out all the women here, you only have 5 minutes, oh, now 1 minute has passed, you still have 4 minutes. What will happen if those women can't be called in 4 minutes? Zheng Yugong doesn't know, but it will definitely end badly. Thinking of this, Zheng Yugong quickly turned around and shouted, "What are you still doing? Go quickly. Call all those women over here, go quickly." Oh. No. The stunned people at the scene left one after another, and several of Zheng Yugong's men quickly followed the instructions. Mu Kanghai, who had recovered his senses, also quickly asked the bodyguards to help. As time passed, Lin Fan leaned on the railing. They looked bored, but Zheng Yugong and Mu Kanghai, who were pointed at by guns, were not so leisurely. The two of them felt that seconds were like years, and the sweat on their faces was flowing down like money. After a while, a group of women they were driven over, and there were quite a few of them. At a glance, there were about 30 or 40 of them. Even though they were tall, they were just average. A few of them were pretty, but Lin Fan was not interested. Compared with Lin Yu and others, they are really far behind. The women who were driven over didn't understand what happened, and they didn't dare to speak. They seemed to be frightened by people like Zheng Yugong for the past month. Seeing these women coming over, Zheng Yugong wiped the sweat from his head and said with a smile, "Sir, it's all here, take a look, don't you?" Under the threat of death, a woman is nothing. As long as Lin Fan can get out of here quickly, nothing will be a problem. Lin Fan glanced at these women and nodded. Although these women didn't look very good and they didn't know how old they were, it didn't matter. As long as they are women, they don't need to be pretty, they just need to be able to grow vegetables, work, etc. Lin Fan's purpose of coming here was to pack these women back to grow vegetables. After passing Zheng Yugong and others, Lin Fan came to the group of women. As Lin Fan approached, these women subconsciously took a few steps back. "From today on, your ownership is mine. Now go back and get your clothes, and then gather here. I will give you 10 minutes. Those who haven't arrived, don't come." Many women looked at Mu Kanghai, Zheng Yugong and others with uneasy expressions. Seeing the looks of these women, Zheng Yugong quickly shouted, "You can do whatever the Lord says, see what I do." Zheng Yugong was panicking. If this made Lin Fan feel unhappy, it would be such an injustice to give him some peanuts. He was startled by Zheng Yugong's shout. Dozens of women did not dare to hesitating. He quickly dispersed and went to pack his things. Watching the group of women leave, Lin Fan casually made a move, and more than a dozen magazines flew over from all directions. Although Lin Fan didn't need the pistol, he could use it to play with. If not, you can still reward Zhao Yanyan and the others. There must be someone to manage these women when they are brought back. Although Zhao Yanyan and the others have a low status, they are still used by him. Compared with these women, their status is simply much higher. These pistols can give it to Zhao Yanyan and the others and let them take care of these women. Women who are disobedient and do not work well will be punished. The pistol is a deterrent and a symbol of power. Lin Fan has no intention of raising these women in vain and will do anything if they are disobedient. Those who are alive will have nothing to eat, and those who are causing trouble will be thrown away to feed the zombies. This is Lin Fan's way of coping. He feels that this is already very kind. At least he does not have to sell his body, live without dignity, and be beaten and scolded from time to time. There wasn't much to eat, it was just a tool for men to vent their anger. I didn't wait long, let alone 10 minutes, 6 or 7 minutes at most, before all the women came back, one at a time. Put all the pistols and magazines into your personal space, right? As these women waved, Lin Fan said, "Follow me. As for you, just do whatever you need to do, so don't follow me." Yes, sir, walk slowly, walk slowly." Although Zheng Yugong couldn't bear to part with those pistols, he was still very happy that Lin Fan could leave. Fortunately, at least his life was saved. He was afraid that Lin Fan would take away these women and not let him go, so there was nothing he could do no more. He led a group of women to the top floor. This time he was not alone. It was easier to walk through the door. As for the door being locked, it was not a problem. Seeing Lin Fan disappearing, Zheng Yugong and others he breathed a sigh of relief and wiped the cold sweat from his head. He was glad that he finally escaped. "What I said yesterday, I knew things would not be that simple. Sure enough, we are out of luck today." Mu Kanghai sighed, with quite a bit of complaint in his tone. Zheng Yugong almost wanted to vomit blood, but now he's thinking about it in hindsight. "Didn't you have a great time last night?" "Oh, I don't want to die. It hurts. Get out of here. Woohoo, save me." The inexplicable screams came from downstairs. The sound was not loud and seemed to be relatively far away. Zheng Yugong's ears were good, and a bad premonition arose in his heart. He quickly asked, "What happened?" Everyone present looked at a loss. They had no idea what Zheng Yugong was asking, but soon, they also heard the screams, and they even got louder and closer. Zheng Yugong didn't bother to ask any more questions, and hurriedly I ran to the railing and looked down. I saw dense crowds of zombies rushing towards the stairs. On other floors, the railings were densely packed with running zombies. There were figures running for their lives in front of these zombies. I looked at the stairs on the 7th floor. Zheng Yugong's pupils suddenly shrank. There were originally piles of various electrical appliances as obstacles, but now they have all disappeared. Damn it. Zheng Yugong knew what happened without even thinking about it. Zombies can't move things. The only one who can do this is the man just now. Fortunately, he thought that man let them go. In fact, there was no such man at all. I want the zombies to bite them all to death. What a cruel heart. Such cruel methods. Run. Wrong. Go move things quickly and block the stairs. Zombies are coming, hurry. Zheng Yugong roared wildly, and everyone with pale faces reacted and ran to move things like crazy. Even the boss Mu Kanghai was no exception. On the roof, Lin Fan was not in a hurry to leave. He had already heard it with his well-developed senses. Screams coming from downstairs. I'm not that kind. How could I let you live? The dead are the safest. Lin Fan's voice was not concealed, and all the women nearby heard it. For a moment, boundless fear arose in their hearts. Lin Fan heard the rapid breathing behind him clearly. He smiled slightly, turned around and looked at the many women behind him. Just in time, I also want to show you what will happen if you disobey me, so that you won't be disobedient and have any little thoughts that you shouldn't have. This is not Lin Fan's nonsense. After a person is stable, various thoughts will arise uncontrollably in his heart. This is normal. People are creatures of desire. They instinctively want better. After all, people want to reach higher places. Let's go. The water flows downwards. In order to reduce the occurrence of this kind of thing, Lin Fan thought it would be better to vaccinate these women. The ground beneath his feet was shattered, and a huge roar was heard in the center of the building. In one part, a large hole with a radius of 10 meters appeared. Lin Fan waved his hand. Go over and take a look and see what happened to those people. With a wave of his hand, such a huge hole was blasted out. The women were all frightened. After hearing Lin Fan's order, they did not dare to hesitate. They walked to the edge of the huge pit in fear, looked down, and took a breath. The cold air. Standing on the edge of the giant pit, looking at the dense zombies rushing up, these women were almost paralyzed with fear, especially when they saw the men who usually domineering over them were bitten to death by zombies. In the end, becoming a member of the zombie army, their livers and gallbladders were filled with chills, and their spines were shivers. Satisfied with the expressions of these women, Lin Fan asked, "Have you seen them all? This is the fate of disobeying me. Look. Saw it. If you don't obey, the same will happen to you. Do you understand?" Understand. Understand. We understand. The reaction of the women was as expected by Lin Fan. Suddenly, Lin Fan was surprised. The situation below had unexpectedly changed. Downstairs, Zheng Yugong and others were struggling to carry huge electrical appliances and furniture one after another. Throwing it down the stairs, it was obvious that the stairs were completely blocked. Not to mention, with the efforts of more than 10 people, the stairs were actually blocked. At this time, the people who were running madly downstairs also came to the bottom of the escalator. Looking at the stairs piled with various electrical appliances, everyone was stunned. Roar. Ouch. The roar of the zombies came from behind. Several men turned to look at the group of corpses rushing towards them, each with a look of despair on their faces. Color. Climb. Climb up. Climb quickly. Several men climbed up various electrical appliances clumsily and hard, but these appliances were very unstable. After climbing a few steps, they fell from the top. Soon, very soon, the corpses swarmed in and killed several men in an instant. Drown. Ah! It hurts so much, Zheng Yugong, you must die a good death. Mu Kanghai. I curse you, bastard, sooner or later zombies will tear you apart. Ah! Zheng Yugong, who is like a dog, I will not let you go even if I become a ghost. I will eat you even if I become a zombie. I can't live, and neither can you. Amidst the miserable wailing, a man ignored the bites of the zombies and moved all kinds of things blocked on the stairs. Zheng Yugong and others upstairs changed their expressions and shouted quickly. Quick! Throw something at him and kill him, but you can't let him move it away. Heavy objects were thrown down one by one, and soon the movement below stopped. Zheng Yugong and others breathed a sigh of relief and collapsed on the ground. On the rooftop, looking down at all this happening, Lin Fan sneered and raised his arms. With a gentle wave of his palm, all the electrical appliances blocked on the stairs floated up and then were thrown downstairs. The unobstructed stairs could no longer stop the zombies, and the zombies rushed up to the top floor like a tide. Zheng Yugong and others' expressions changed greatly, and they turned around and ran away. However, the top floor was so big, where could they run to? Soon, everyone was overwhelmed by the corpses, and there was no sound at all, and among the corpses, there were more dozens of new members. After watching everything that happened downstairs, Lin Fan raised his head. The women looked at Lin Fan in fear. In their hearts, Lin Fan was no different from a devil. The women's fearful expressions were all revealed. He closed his eyes and smiled calmly. This was the effect he wanted. You don't need to be so afraid. As long as you are obedient, you will be more comfortable than many people in the apocalypse. It's even the same as before the end, except there are no men to do the things you love. Do you understand? Clear. Clear. The women nodded quickly. Got it, let's go. With a wave of his hand, dozens of women floated up and flew in midair. Lin Fan looked at the dense sea of corpses below, turned around and flew towards the hospital. Flying in midair, the women's faces turned pale one by one, waiting. After adapting, they all looked at everything on the ground curiously. Obviously, the feeling of flying in the sky without any props made them very novel. At the same time, they were even more shocked by Lin Fan's terror. These women all guessed. Who is Lin Fan? In other words, is he a human or a god? How else could he do this? In the hospital supermarket, Lin Fan came down with dozens of women. You guys wait here. Pushing open the door of the supermarket and walking in. On the second floor, Lin Fan saw Zhao Wanqing as soon as he came up. Seeing that she was about to kneel down to change his shoes, Lin Fan waved his hand. No, we have to go down soon. Are you and the others up? My lord, Miss Yu has just been out for a while. My subordinates checked the map and found some things you missed. Miss Yu has passed by and there should be good gains. Zhao Yanyan and Li Siki have difficulty moving and are now in Mu Yueching's house, room. Oh. Zhao Wanqing's words aroused Lin Fan's interest. What did he miss? What is the so-called gain? He found that Zhao Wanqing was becoming more and more interesting. Speaking of which, Zhao Wanqing could be considered an unintentional discovery. The hospital is so big. Where does the food for doctors and nurses come from? There must be a canteen, right? Otherwise, patients can order food, but what about doctors? Do they also order food from outside every day? It is obviously impossible. I asked Lin Yu, but did not get any results. The main reason was that Lin Yu had never eaten in the hospital. Zhao Wanqing checked online and found the location of the hospital canteen. The canteen of a large key hospital should store a lot of things, right? There should be some vegetables in the freezer. Let's eat? If so, can the food be improved? Lin Fan said that he wanted to eat vegetables for a change. On that one occasion, Zhao Wanqing remembered it firmly in his heart. If there are new discoveries in the canteen, it doesn't mean that now, Lin Fan can eat the vegetables he cooked. This should make Lin Fan, the master, happier. In Lin Fan's heart, her impression will be deepened a lot, right? If before the end, someone told her that there was one day she would go to such great lengths to please a man, Zhao Wanqing would definitely think that the man was crazy. But now that was the fact, she racked her brains and thought, trying to leave a deep impression on Lin Fan. Just to grab the second position in the main palace before women like Zhao Yanyan after her appearance is restored. She doesn't want to be the first in the main palace. It's not that she doesn't want to compete, but Lin Yu is too strong. How can an ordinary person like her compete? But the second position, she must want it. Looking at Lin Fan's obviously interested eyes, Zhao Wanqing smiled sweetly and said nothing. She didn't dare to praise Heiko. If Lin Yu went there, she would bring nothing back. Who is responsible for this? Zhao Wanqing planned to let it slip, and Lin Fan did not intend to ask further questions. Anyway, everything will be known when Lin Yu comes back. Go and call Zhao Yanyan out. I'll wait for you downstairs. Zhao Wanqing responded and looked curiously at Lin Fan who came downstairs. She didn't understand why Lin Fan asked them to go downstairs. Without thinking much, Zhao Wanqing walked to the door of the room, knocked on the door, and walked in. She looked at the three people in the room. A woman, Zhao Wanqing said calmly. The Lord is back and wants you two to go down. After hearing Lin Fan's order, Zhao Yanyan and Li Siki didn't dare to delay at all and got up quickly. Although they had a lot of fun last night, they will inevitably have difficulty moving today. Fortunately, this is a hospital. They applied some medicine and it was obviously better than in the morning. A lot. Seeing Zhao Yanyan and the others disappear at the door, Mu Yueching's face was slightly rosy under the quilt, and her beautiful eyes blinked, recalling the processes that Zhao Yanyan and Li Siki shared before, and those words of tiger and wolf. Mu Yueching thinks about it now somewhat dizzy. Yanyan and the others were injured like that lord must be very strong. Zhang Li murmured to himself that Mu Yueching had never seen Lin Fan until now, and all he knew were the narratives of Zhao Yanyan and Li Siki. Downstairs in the supermarket, Lin Fan crossed his arms and looked at the women in front of him. He just counted 36 women in total. Under Lin Fan's attention, these women lowered their heads and looked reserved, like primary school students caught by the teacher. The three girls Zhao Wanqing who had just walked down were shocked when they saw so many women. Did they catch so many women in just one trip? Especially Zhao Wanqing, she was even more panicked. Good guy, are there a bunch of competitors again? But fortunately, looking at the beauty of these women, she felt relieved a lot. Lord. Zhao Wanqing and the three girls walked up to Lin Fan and bowed their heads to say hello. Lin Fan raised his finger and pointed at the 36 women in front of him and said, "From today on, they are under the control of you three. Do you understand?" Zhao Wanqing and the other three were stunned for a moment, then quickly nodded and said, "I understand, Your Majesty." With a flip of his palm, 3 pistols appeared out of thin air. One for each. If they disobey, I allow you to shoot them, but it is best not to let me know that you are abusing your power. Looking at the 3 pistols in the air, whether it was Zhao Wanqing or the 36 women they brought back, their hearts trembled. I'll teach you how to use a gun later. As for you, Lin Fan looked at the 36 women in front of him and said, "Your task is to clean the hospital dormitory and clean up all the bloodstains and the like. Wanqing, you take turns supervising. Those who don't work seriously will not have food today. Okay, let's all disperse." The sound of gunshots echoed, and the 3 women Zhao Wanqing, Li Siki, and Zhao Yanyan stood in a row and shot at the water bottle 50 meters away in a stylish manner. Standing not far away, watching the 3 people shooting, Lin Fan couldn't help but shake his head. This marksmanship was too bad. Of course, he also knew that marksmanship is something that is trained and fed with bullets, and it is difficult to master it in a short period of time. What an achievement! Is it possible to let them practice marksmanship every day? This is not very realistic. First of all, there are not that many bullets, unless he goes to the police station, but this does not change the disadvantage of needing to spend a lot of time practicing. How to do it? If you are in doubt, ask the system. System. What should they do in this situation? Is there any solution? Lord, you can spend 10 points to exchange for firearm proficiency and then teach it to them. The basic requirement is that your faith value reaches 90 points. You still retain ownership of the ability and can reclaim it at any time. Sure enough, the system is omnipotent, but why gun mastery can be taught with 90 faith points, but powers need to reach the full value of 100 points? Lord, do you think the abilities of ordinary people can be compared with the abilities of extraordinary beings? Okay, everything you said is right, it's just that. After looking at the 3 women who were working hard to practice their marksmanship, Lin Fan was a little unsure. Do the 3 of them have enough faith in him to reach 90 points? If Zhao Wanqing wasn't deliberately putting on a show this morning, judging from her worried look, 90 o'clock should be enough. But Zhao Yanyan and the others were completely forced to do so. They just met yesterday and slept together at night. No matter how they thought about it, their faith value could not reach 90 points. With this in mind, Lin Fan opened the attribute panels of the 3 of them. Character. Zhao Wanqing Strength. 8, 10, Agility. 7, 11. Intelligence. 14 Physique. 8, 11, Faith Value. 98. Power. None tips. Due to long-term hunger and malnutrition, the 3-dimensional attributes are currently slowly recovering. Character. Zhao Yanyan Strength. 9 Agility. 7, 9. Intelligence. 12 Physique. 8, 10, Faith Value. 91 Power. None tips. The body suffered a dimensionality reduction blow. The agility and physical properties were reduced, the injuries were recovered, and the properties returned to normal. Character. Lee Siki strength, 8 agility, 7, 9, intelligence, 13. Physique. 7, 9, faith value, 92 power. None tip. The body suffered a dimensionality reduction blow. The agility and physical attributes were reduced, the injury was recovered, and the attributes returned to normal. Lin Fan. The previous prompt was normal, but what happened next? What does dimensionality reduction attack? The system was obviously hinting at something to him, right? But what about the faith value? Why do these three people have such high faith values? Lin Fan even suspected that there was something wrong with the system. It was expected that Zhao Wanqing would exceed 90 points, but 98 was really unexpected. This is almost the full value. But Zhao Yanyan and Li Siki only met yesterday, and at night, he arbitrarily took away the other party's most precious thing. It's normal for his faith value to be so low that he hates him to death. But his faith value is not negative, and it directly exceeds 90 points, which is obviously abnormal. Lin Fan believed that there was such a thing as love at first sight, but it was very abnormal for two women who were obviously goddesses before the apocalypse to fall in love at first sight for him. System. Are you sure that the faith values of Zhao Yanyan and Li Siki are correct? Lin Fan looked suspicious. My lord, there is nothing wrong with the attributes. The specific reason cannot be explained by the system, and the woman's heart system cannot fully interpret it. Maybe there is a sentence you should have heard. What words? The shortcut to a woman's heart is asterisk 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 asterisk. Lin Fan was stunned. I'll go. The hearse drifts? Is the system driving openly? In any case, the three women's faith points were all sufficient, which saved Lin Fan a lot of trouble. After spending 10 points to redeem firearm proficiency, Lin Fan waved to the three women, come here, you three. The gun missed the target. The three women were so nervous that they didn't dare to look at Lin Fan. Now they were summoned by Lin Fan. The three girls lowered their heads and walked closer, closing their eyes and preparing to be scolded. What are you thinking with your heads down? You don't think you are a genius marksman, do you? The first time you touched a gun, it hit every target? Who gave you confidence? I don't even have that confidence. After being ridiculed mercilessly, the three women lowered their heads and looked at each other sheepishly, feeling relieved in their hearts. Wanqing, come here. Facing Lin Fan's gaze, Zhao Wanqing was a little confused. She bit her thin lips and took 2 steps forward. There was only 1 foot away from Lin Fan. She raised her hand and put it on the top of Zhao Wanqing's head. All the experiences of firearm proficiency were instilled in her. There was so much information in her mind that Zhao Wanqing was stunned for a moment, as if she was digesting the knowledge in her mind. Then, Lin Fan taught firearms proficiency to Zhao Yanyan and Li Siki one by one. Unlike teaching supernatural powers, he taught firearms proficiency. This skill does not consume points, but only consumes some energy. Lin Fan can completely bear this mental consumption. After a while, the three women who had digested the firearms proficiency experience came to their senses one after another. Zhao Wanqing's eyes were complicated. Looking at Lin Fan, the shock in my heart could not be greater. Teaching a skill out of thin air, this method, simply terrible. Zhao Yanyan and Li Siki were much more straightforward. They looked at Lin Fan with admiring eyes, and Li Siki's eyes sparkled. Lord, are you God? It is so powerful and allows us to gain knowledge and experience about firearms out of thin air. I feel like the gun in my hand is like a part of my body. I can easily hit the target without even having to aim. Ding! Zhao Wanqing's faith in you has increased by 2 points. Currently, her faith has reached full value. She will be loyal to you until death. Ding! Zhao Yanyan's faith value in you has increased by 5 points, and the current faith value is 96. Ding! Zhao Yanyan's faith in you has increased by 4 points. Currently, her faith has reached full value. She will be loyal to you until death. Ding! Li Siki's faith in you plus 1 inch. Ding! Li Siki's faith in you plus 1 inch. Ding! Li Siki has a faith value of plus 6 for you. The current faith value has reached full value. He will be loyal to you until death. The series of notification sounds confused everyone in Lin, especially Li Siki. What was this kid thinking? Just like the pop beans, a series of plus ones, and then he went straight to the sky. Is it? Lord, you are actually God, right? Came down to earth specifically to save us? Lee Siki blinked her big eyes, her tender little face full of expectation. Not only Lee Siki, but also Zhao Yanyan next to her seemed convinced of this, and Zhao Wanqing was still in shock and had not recovered. Lin Fan couldn't stand the enthusiasm of the cute little girl for a while. This guy almost got into his arms and even leaned forward. His look was like that of a pervert who just came out of prison and saw a beautiful woman. That cry and excitement is called a fanaticism. I'm not a god now, but it shouldn't be a big problem in the future. As for coming down to earth to save you, this is nonsense. Don't you have an idea of what happened last night? I am not a good person. The labels of bad person, evil person, and rotten person are more suitable for me. Lin Fan's face was calm and his tone was calm and unhurried. He didn't care about his true nature. How could he deceive the little girl into establishing a great and upright label? Sorry, he doesn't need it. As he said, he is a bad person and a wicked person, relying on his strong strength to act recklessly. This is him. What's wrong? Are you disappointed? Looking at the dazed little girl, Lin Fan sneered and asked. The little head shook like a rattle, and Lee Siki smiled stupidly. My lord, it's so cool. I like it so much. My lord, how about we go back upstairs? I'll give it to you. You take a shower. Lin Fan. Do you want to take a shower? You are despicable, you lust after my body? Don't wash it. I think you have forgotten the fear of being dominated last night. Go and do whatever you need to do. I don't have time to talk to you. Remember to supervise those women. I'll go get some vegetable seeds and come back. I'll keep eating canned meat and luncheon meat. I almost don't know what the food tastes like. Jumping up, lightning flashed everywhere. Lin Fan turned into lightning and left the hospital. He planned to bring some vegetables, fruits and other seeds when he came out, and also went to the police station for a walk. Since Zhao Wanqing and the others had firearms. If you are proficient, then weapons and other things are very necessary. Shortly after Lin Fan left, a moving silhouette flew over at an extremely fast speed, carrying several large bags in his hand. He was carrying vegetables in his left hand and vegetables in his right hand. Carrying a bag of cold meat, Lin Yu stopped and looked at Zhao Wanqing and the other three who were looking at the sky in a daze. She frowned slightly, especially when she saw the pistol in the hands of the three women. Her frown deepened. What are you three standing here looking at? Did the Lord just come back? Coming back to her senses, Zhao Wanqing looked at Lin Yu who didn't know when she would come back, nodded and said, the Lord just came back, but left again. These guns were given to us by the Lord, and asked us to supervise the women who were brought back. As she said that, Zhao Wanqing saw several big bags in Lin Yu's hands, and her eyes lit up. Are there really vegetables and meat in the canteen? Great, when the master comes back, we can cook some vegetables for him. The faith value directly reached the full value. Zhao Wanqing's heart was full of Lin Fan. Seeing these things that Lin Fan had been thinking about, she was naturally overjoyed. Hearing this, Lin Yu's frown relaxed and she looked down at her hands, vegetables and meat, with a slight smile on his face. Yes, fortunately these are kept in the freezer. Otherwise they would all be broken. The canteen is not in the hospital area and is closed by an electronic door. No wonder the Lord didn't notice. You said that the Lord has brought back a group of women. Who are they? They were all not very good women, with average figures and looks, and the few beautiful ones were just like that. The Lord meant that these were all brought back to work. Zhao Wanqing explained. Is that so? I'll go up and put these down first, and we'll go over there later to see those women. Lin Yu walked into the supermarket carrying the bag and walked out after a while. Let's go. On the other side, Lin Fan didn't know that the vegetables and meat he wanted so much had been brought back by Lin Yu. At this moment, he was muttering, vegetables, fruits and seeds. Where can I buy these things? He has never bought these things before. He even doubted, is there anyone selling this thing in the Magic City? Just when Lin Fan was standing on a roof thinking about life, a childish voice came from under his feet. Brother, are you going to jump off the building? Why are you on the roof of my house? What? There is someone here. Suddenly hearing the sound coming from downstairs, Lin Fan was stunned. It had been a month since the end of the world, and a random fall on a roof found a survivor in the house. Was this because he was lucky, Or was there actually no zombies? So powerful? And this voice should be that of a child, right? Looking down, a cute little loli in Lolita is looking up with her head raised. Her fair and tender face is a little baby fat. Her tender and chubby face is very cute, and her big eyes are sparkling. Look. Looking at these eyes, Lin Fan seemed to see a clear spring. Lin Fan jumped down from the roof and landed in front of this little Lolita. Not sure if it was an illusion, but Lin Fan felt that the little Lolita seemed to be panicked. But Lin Fan soon realized that he had jumped directly from the 3rd floor. Who in the right mind would jump from the 3rd floor? Is it normal for a little Loli to be scared? Standing in front of the little Lolita, Lin Fan became more and more attracted to her. She was at most 1.5 meters tall, short, dressed like a cute Lolita, with bright eyes and white teeth, as delicate as a doll. Little sister, what is your name? Just you? Where are your adults? After sensing for a while, there was no scent of anyone in the entire villa except for the little Lolita in front of him. Lin Fan was a little surprised. Could it be that the end of the world has been going on for so long and this little Lolita is the only one left in this house? Or are the adults in the family going out to look for food? Zombies are relatively lazy during the day and are different from the violent ones at night. It would be much safer for ordinary people to go out to look for food during the day. Brother, my name is Su Xiaoluo. I am the only one at home. My father said that my mother has gone to a faraway place. He is going to find her. Let me be alone at home. Be good and don't run around. There are bad people outside. Luo was very scared. The uncles and aunts outside were covered in blood, and they were yelling at Luo fiercely, and wanted to rush in. Luo was scared, and now he didn't dare to go to the door. Dad had been out for a month and still not coming back. Luo misses her father and mother so much. Little Lolita said with a very depressed expression. Lin Fan couldn't help but feel a little pity after hearing this. Through Su Xiaoluo's description, Lin Fan could probably make up some pictures in his mind. Little Lolita's mother turned into a zombie, and then the father killed it and took it away. Even the father was bitten. In order not to hurt his daughter, he had no choice but to leave the house. Only this cute and helpless little Loli was left in the whole family, and he lived a lonely life until now. The naive little Loli didn't know that zombies were rampant outside, and she ran to the door. Those uncles and aunts with blood on their bodies, who were very fierce, probably wanted to break open the door of the villa, rush in and eat Su Xiaoluo. Thinking about it, Lin Fan felt more and more pitiful for this little Loli. Her parents died tragically at such a young age. What should she do in the future? There should be a lot of food in the villa, but one day the food will be exhausted, so what should Su Xiaoluo do? What should I do? Unlike adults like Zhao Yanyan, Lin Fan cannot think of evil people when looking at the innocent little Lolita. Such a little angel should not have to experience those darkness. Brother, how are you? Did you just jump from such a height and hit your head? Dad told me not to climb too high or I might fall. After coming back to his senses, Lin Fan looked at the worried look on little Loli's face. Lin Fan touched her little head and said with a smile. It's okay. Brother just thought of something. Do you want Luo to take brother inside to take a look? Okay. Su Xiaoluo nodded her little head, held Lin Fan's big hand with her white and tender hands, and ran happily into the villa. Let the little Loli pull him. Lin Fan hesitated in his heart. He was thinking about whether to tell her for a while. He was a little hesitant about the cruel reality. After all, it was too cruel for little Loli who was not familiar with the world. He was afraid that Su Xiaoluo would not be able to accept such a reality. Forget it, let's take it one step at a time, and we'll talk about it when the time comes. Having made a decision in his heart, Lin Fan found that he had been pulled into the villa by the little Lolita. The decoration in the villa was luxurious and the various furniture and decorations were quite extraordinary and should be worth a lot of money. There were various murals. Lin Fan took a look and saw that they were all pictures of buildings. Big brother, sit down. Luo, go get you some snacks. The little Lolita pushed her down on the sofa. Looking at Su Xiaoluo who happily ran upstairs, Lin Fan shook his head. Fortunately, he didn't have bad intentions. If it were those survivors, the little Lolita would probably be killed. There are no bones left after eating. You dare to take out your own food and give it to others in the apocalypse. This is really courageous. Only a little lowly like Su Xiaoluo who is not familiar with the world would do this. If he doesn't care about this, Su Xiaoluo might be hurt by another survivor one day. Such an innocent and cute little loli must be taken away. She must not be contaminated by those garbage. I have to waste a lot of food again. I hope this guy is not too good at eating. In the room on the third floor, Su Xiaoluo was holding bags of snacks and kept complaining. At this time, she was not as innocent as Lin Fan saw just now, but more like a mature adult. That guy jumped from the third floor and didn't do anything at all. It's so strange. People on the internet say that there are no people with extraordinary abilities. He must be in good physical condition. 2 pieces, no. Or 4 pieces. No matter how healthy you are, you still have to sleep well. With a bottle of juice in his hand, Su Xiaoluo put 2 packets of powdered sleeping pills in, shook them vigorously for a while, and then put them down. Beside the table, there were also a pile of small paper packets, which seemed to be. The sleeping pills were ground into powder. Feeling distressed, Su Xiaoluo took a few packs of snacks. Su Xiaoluo's face returned to the innocent and cute look before, and he skipped downstairs. When passing by a room on the second floor, Su Xiaoluo paused at a brisk pace, looked at the closed door, and wrinkled her delicate nose. It will take a lot of effort to lift that guy up later. Really, why do you come to me? Stomping her little feet, Su Xiaoluo vented a lot, and then ran downstairs. Stomp, stomp, stomp. The sound of brisk footsteps came, and Lin Fan looked over. Su Xiaoluo, who was holding a few bags of chips and a bottle of drink, ran over. His face was red, which must have been caused by running all the way. Brother, here you go, these potato chips are super delicious. Seeing Su Xiaoluo put a bunch of potato chips in front of him, Lin Fan didn't refuse. He opened a bag casually, took 2 bites, and then put it down. There were a lot of these in the hospital supermarket. Lin Fan ate 2. Su Xiaoluo was slightly startled as he put down the tablet. Why did he only eat 2 tablets? Normally, shouldn't he be like a starving man, eating haste? Then he would drink juice in large gulps, and finally sleep like a dead pig. Lin Fan K didn't know what Su Xiaoluo was thinking. After putting down the potato chips, he focused on Su Xiaoluo. He was thinking about how to tell Su Xiaoluo the truth of the matter in a tactful way. Lin Fan didn't eat. Talking and just staring at her, Su Xiaoluo felt scared and panicked at the same time. Is this man planning to jump right into the topic? Su Xiaoluo was frightened and quickly handed the juice in his hand to Lin Fan. Brother, let me drink juice for you. This is Luo Luo's favorite flavor. With a calm expression on her face, Su Xiaoluo could only hope that Lin Fan drank the juice and was turned over by the medicine, otherwise she would be really in danger today. Lin Fan is tall, and she is very strong. This little guy is no match at all. Looking at the juice Su Xiaoluo handed over, Lin Fan did not refuse. He took it and twisted it, only to find that the bottle of juice had been unscrewed. Lin Fan frowned and looked at it with an expectant look on his face. The little loli looked up and took a sip. The juice was very good, but Lin Fan always felt that something was wrong. Brother, why don't you drink anymore? Doesn't it taste good? Su Xiaoluo looked at Lin Fan eagerly and found that he had only taken a small sip. He was very anxious. Somehow, Lin Fan felt more and more that something was not right. System, is there something wrong with what I just ate? Sir, there is nothing wrong with the potato chips. The juice contains a large dose of sleeping pills. The number is about 4 pieces. Depending on your physical condition, you can ignore it. 4 pills. Lin Fan's heart was shocked. 1 sleeping pill is enough for a person to sleep for 8 to 10 hours. Now 4 pills, are they going to make him sleep to death? He found that he really underestimated the little Lolita in front of him. After sensing again, it was indeed the little Lolita in front of him in the villa. Looking at Su Xiaoluo's expectant eyes, Lin Fan raised his head and took a big sip, then downed half the bottle. He put down the juice and looked at the harmless person in front of him. Su Xiaoluo, Lin Fan wanted to know what she wanted to do. There was still half a bottle of juice left. Su Xiaoluo was relieved now, but in order to stabilize Lin Fan, she still pretended to be innocent and cute. He was mumbling in his mind, hoping that Lin Fan would fall asleep soon. Thinking that it was almost time, Lin Fan pretended to be sleepy and soon lay down on the table. Big brother! Big brother! Lying Lin Fan down, Su Xiaoluo screamed several times and even pushed a few times to confirm that Lin Fan was asleep, and then he breathed a sigh of relief. I finally fell asleep, I was so nervous, collapsed on the sofa, Su Xiaoluo kept complaining. After a while, he stood up, grabbed Lin Fan's arm with both hands, and began to drag the body. Oh my god, it's so heavy, isn't it going to tire me out? I used all my strength to drag Lin Fan, and Su Xiaoluo was almost exhausted. He didn't know where he was going to be dragged, but with this dragging method and speed, how long would it take? The magnetic control ability release him and lift him up a little. In an instant, the weight is reduced by an unknown amount. Strange. Why did he suddenly become lighter? Su Xiaoluo muttered in confusion, but didn't take it to heart. With Lin Fan's secret help, Su Xiaoluo quickly dragged Lin Fan to the door of a room on the second floor. After being dragged all the way upstairs, Lin Fan, there is a question mark on her forehead. What does this little loli want to do? Is she just greedy for his body? After struggling to put Lin Fan on the chair and tying him tightly with a rope, Su Xiaoluo wiped the sweat from his head and said, "It's finally tied." After being tied to the chair, Lin Fan finally recognized the reality. This is not coveting his body, this is meeting a hidden boss. Good guy, what Zhang Wuji's mother said is indeed true. The more beautiful a woman is, the better she is at lying. This little loli is only so old, she already knows how to lie. Also, that face is so confusing. He admitted that he underestimated this little loli, but he just didn't know what she planned to do with him next. With his eyes closed, but his perception was still there, Lin Fan sensed it and discovered a lot of things. First, a noose was tied under his chair, and then it was connected to the window. After going through a series of complex mechanisms, it was finally connected to a switch behind Su Xiaoluo. As long as he pressed the switch, he would send the person away with the chair and throw it directly outside. Outside, there were dense zombies wandering aimlessly. Lin Fan even saw two people tied to the chair, of zombies. This must be the same victim as him. It seems that this little loli has not only deceived him before. But what about the purpose? What is the purpose? Or is it just a hobby of luring others into the villa and then drugging them to death? Are all people today so dark? A little loli has become like this? Lin Fan felt that his heart was greatly shocked. Fanning the wind with his little hands, Su Xiaoluo came closer to Lin Fan and looked at Lin Fan with his big eyes. He is quite handsome, but I don't know if I have a bad stomach. Actually, I don't want to do this to you, but who knows whether you are good or bad? For my safety, I can only leave you to the zombies. I hope you don't blame me if you die. I have no choice but to do so. Those videos on the internet are too scary. I don't want to be like that. I'm sorry. As she said that, Su Xiaoluo turned around and walked to the switch she had made before. As long as she pressed it, Lin Fan would be thrown out along with the chair in a chain reaction. It seemed that he didn't dare to watch that scene. Su Xiaoluo always had his back to Lin Fan, and his raised hand had not been pressed down for a long time. The mere rope could not trap Lin Fan at all. He stood up from the chair and looked at Su Xiaoluo, who had his back turned to him. Lin Fan, his feelings towards her changed again and again. If not for what he just said, Lin Fan would have thought that Su Xiaoluo was just a twisted Lolita with an innocent appearance and a dark heart, but that was not the case now. As Su Xiaoluo just said like that, in the apocalypse, people's hearts are like ghosts, and humans are scarier than zombies. Those videos on the internet are darker and more twisted than the last, and people's hearts are separated from each other. Who knows whether those two people are good or bad? Su Xiaoluo is just a little loli. She resists. Are you an adult? To put it bluntly, even without powers, Lin Fan can capture her with one hand. For her own safety, especially for girls, this is indeed the best thing for her, protection. If he is as innocent as when we first met, maybe Su Xiaoluo is no longer alive, or has been trained to look like someone else. Who can guarantee that the corpse thrown outside is a good person? As long as there is a bad person, Su Xiaoluo's end was absolutely tragic. Step by step, he walked behind Su Xiaoluo and looked at her little hand that had not been patted down. Lin Fan knew that she was struggling. Shoot. Why not? As soon as I took the photo, I flew out in a whoosh. Wow! Su Xiaoluo suddenly heard the sound coming from behind, and Su Xiaoluo was so frightened that he jumped up and ran away like a frightened little rabbit for a long distance before turning around to look behind her. For a moment, Su Xiaoluo was stunned. She clearly remembered to tie up Lin Fan. There were 4 sleeping pills too. Why did she wake up just now? The sleeping pills must have been fake. You. Why are you up? If I don't get up, you will throw me out to feed the zombies. I never expected that such a cute little loli has such vicious thoughts. Unfortunately, I thought you were pitiful before, and I was still thinking about how to comfort you, but in the end, you deceived me. Got it? Step by step, Lin Fan stepped forward with a sneer on his face. Su Xiaoluo, who was blocked, could only huddle in the corner and tremble. After a while, Lin Fan sat on the sofa, with a small bench sitting opposite him. Su Xiaoluo was uneasy. The door of the room had been locked. Lin Fan was going to interrogate this little loli today. Name: Su Xiaoluo. Boom! Lin Fan slapped the table and glared. Tell the truth. Su Xiaoluo trembled in fright and said aggrievedly. My name is Su Xiaoluo. I have an ID card. Okay. Sex: female. Age: 2.23 years old. Peeved. A mouthful of water spurted out. Looking at Su Xiaoluo sitting on the small bench, Lin Fan had a question mark on his head. I don't believe you. I asked you how old you are. Staring at Su Xiaoluo on the small bench, 23 years old? Do you think I look like a fool? I'm less than 1.5 meters at most, so big, and my face is so tender. You tell me I'm 23 years old? Su Xiaoluo said. He shrunk his head and looked at Lin Fan's fierce look, with a bitter look on his face. 3.32D. Lin Fan. I can tell at a glance that you are not a human being. Look at me boldly, monster. I asked you how old you are. Lin Fan felt that he was about to suffer from brain congestion. He stared at Su Xiaoluo's small body. It didn't look like he was 32 years old. I am really 23 years old. I have an ID card. I am really an adult. I am an architectural designer. I really didn't lie to you. Su Xiaoluo wanted to cry. Didn't she just look smaller and shorter? After a while, he looked at the ID card and various documents in his hand and compared them for a long time. He finally confirmed that the one in front of him looked harmless to humans and animals. The little Lolita is actually a 23-year-old adult woman. What is this? A living, legal Lolita. I tapped my fingers on my resume. Speaking of it, this legal Lolita in front of me is really not that simple. On the resume it can be said that his military achievements are shining brightly. Many famous buildings and communities in the Magic City were designed by the man in front of him. Tell me, what's going on with those two outside? If you lied to me about anything else, tell me honestly. Rubbing the hem of her skirt with her fingers, Su Xiaoluo frowned. I'll tell you the truth. You won't hit me, right? I don't know if it's possible, but if you tell the truth, I will definitely leave you a sigh of relief. Lin Fan was almost amused. Good guy. You want to negotiate terms with him? Why is this kid so funny? When Lin Fan said this, Su Xiaoluo's face became even more bitter. I must tell the truth. Then say, the story about mom and dad is false. Good guy. The first sentence gave Lin Fan a lightning strike. Have you been deceiving him from the beginning? He secretly glanced at Lin Fan's face and saw that Lin Fan had no expression. Su Xiaoluo swallowed. He continued. There are no others. As for the 2 people who died outside, I think they all deserve to die. Why did he die? As if recalling something bad, Su Xiaoluo bit her little white teeth and said bitterly. The first man came in running for his life. He threatened me that if I didn't open the door for him, he would break the door open. He had a weapon in his hand at the time. I had no choice but to let him in. He kept staring at me after he came in. That look was very annoying. Maybe I was too young and not a threat. He drank the juice I gave him and then fell asleep. I dragged him upstairs and tied him to a chair. Later, when he woke up, he yelled and cursed at me and threatened me that if I didn't let him go, he would do whatever he wanted to me. He gave many examples, which were very unpleasant to hear. Horrible, and then I threw him out. The second person came in over the wall. He was surprised when he saw me, and then he wanted to do something to me. Fortunately, I had an electric shock device and stunned him. I had the same experience as the first person, and I didn't even wait for him. When he woke up, he threw him out. Listening to Su Xiaoluo's narration, Lin Fan didn't know what to say. Women are already weak in the apocalypse, let alone Su Xiaoluo in front of him. If he is really careless, maybe after the first person comes in, Su Xiaoluo has been trained so badly, right? What about me? I didn't do anything, so what do you say when you came up and gave me juice mixed with sleeping pills? Su Xiaoluo frowned, hesitated and said, "You don't look like a bad person. I hesitated for a long time just now before throwing you out, but people's hearts are far apart. If I had to do it over again, I will do it again. I don't think it's wrong for me to do it. I don't want to risk my life on whether you are good or bad." Sitting on the small bench dejectedly, Su Xiaoluo said dejectedly, "I've said it all, it's up to you to kill or chop him." The sleeping pills lost their effect, the plan failed, and they were captured instead. Su Xiaoluo had no other way to save herself, and she didn't bring the electric shock device with her. She really had no choice at all, and she even suspected the electric shock device. Is this thing useful? After all, 4 sleeping pills didn't knock Lin Fan down, which was beyond her imagination. 1 sleeping pill is enough for an adult to sleep for 8 to 10 hours. Let alone 4 pills. You can put down all the bullshit, but the fact is right in front of you. It's not without reason that this man can jump from the 3rd floor without any trouble. Looking at Su Xiaoluo's expression of giving nothing, Lin Fan shook his head. The girl is so arrogant, she might just be showing off her pity now. Okay. Stop drooping your face, I don't care about you cheating on me. Really? Su Xiaoluo instantly raised her head and looked at Lin Fan with big eyes. Su Xiaoluo had a look of surprise on her face. Then she saw Lin Fan's darkened face. She scratched her face and lowered her head again. I don't care about the fact that you deceived me. There is a price. You have to come with me. Don't make any conditions with me. When Lin Fan glared, Su Xiaoluo shrank his neck and lowered his head angrily. Seeing Su Xiaoluo calm down, Lin Fan had a straight face and a headache. Su Xiaoluo is indeed a great architectural designer. You can see it just by looking at the famous high-end residential areas and the benchmark buildings in the magical city that she designed. The hospital can only be used as a shelter, but it will definitely be bulldozed and rebuilt later. Then Su Xiaoluo, a great designer, will come in handy. Go pack your things and come with me later. There was nothing interesting to see over there in the dormitory building. I took Zhao Wanqing and the 3 of them around for a tour before returning. Perhaps as a man, watching a group of women sweating like rain would be very eye-catching, but to Lin Yu and the others, it was not the same at all. Not interested. Looking far away, Lin Yu's eyesight was very good after being strengthened by special powers. Looking at the increasing number of zombies at the entrance of the hospital and the surrounding fences, a hint of worry flashed in his eyes. Zombies. I don't know why there are more and more people. It seems that something in the hospital is attracting them. What could it be? Food. That is people. Wanqing, do you want to restore your appearance as soon as possible? Standing behind Lin Yu, Zhao Wanqing was a little confused. After she came back from the dormitory, she was called up by Lin Yu, and she was in a daze until now. Now that Lin Yu suddenly asked this question, Zhao Wanqing didn't know how to answer. She was a little confused about Lin Yu's purpose. Beat? Warn? Or something else? Zhao Wanqing only dreamed of restoring her appearance. There were more and more women around Lin Fan, and the sense of urgency in her heart became stronger and stronger, especially when Lin Fan showed off that kind of miraculous ability, and Zhao Wanqing became more and more desperate. But how could it be so easy to restore her appearance? She now runs a small stove every day. There are not many other things in the supermarket, but there are many supplements, such as ginseng, velvet antler, etc. Birds' nests and the like, but this thing can't be repaired in a day. It will take half a month at the fastest. She is almost dying. If she can restore her appearance as soon as possible, she will definitely want it, really want to. But it was Lin who said this Yu. She didn't dare to speak carelessly. Maybe if she said the wrong thing, she would be gone. I believe Lin Fan would not blame Lin Yu for losing her. Although she was unwilling to do so, the fact was that the status of her and Lin Yu were worlds apart. Don't worry, I have no intention of harming you, I just mean it literally. Do you want to restore your appearance as soon as possible? Raising her hand, Lin Yu looked calm and stopped Zhao Wanqing from wanting to speak. Your Majesty, I can't be the only woman. In fact, I can't bear your Majesty's strength. You are very beautiful and very enterprising. I can help you restore your appearance, but whether you can secure your position depends on your performance. If one day I find out that you are unfaithful to the Lord, and your only fate will be death, I will never betray the Lord. So much the better. Lin Yuyu's voice remained unchanged. She turned around and raised her arm, holding the tang knife that Lin Fan gave her before. You can use this knife, it should be useful to you. Looking at the tang dao in front of her, Zhao Wanqing raised her hand to take it. As soon as she took it, a warm feeling surged through her body along the palm of her hand. Go downstairs. Glancing at Zhao Wanqing lightly, Lin Yuyu walked downstairs. In the living room on the second floor, when she saw Lin Yuyu walking down, Zhao Yanyan put away her pistol and said respectfully, "My lord, according to your instructions, I have sent all the people from the dormitory who are willing to come over." The women were all brought downstairs. Well, let's go. Zhao Wanqing followed, and she didn't understand. When did Lin Yuyu give the order? What on earth did this woman want to do? Downstairs of the supermarket, Lin Yuyu stood with her hands behind her hands, her eyes sweeping over the dozen women in front of her. Since you guys, if you dared to come here, it means that you are mentally prepared. You may die next. If you withdraw now, I will not pursue it. After all, you are about to face zombies. After Lin Yuyu finished speaking, the eyes of more than a dozen women flickered for a moment, but no one moved. Very well, since you don't want to be a servant, I will give you a chance today. After saying that, Lin Yuyu raised his arm and grabbed it with his bare hands. A large piece of steel bar in the open space not far away flew up, and its shape was changing. Under the dull eyes of everyone, the steel bar finally turned into a handle. Tang Dao. With a wave of his hand, more than 10 long knives flew in front of the girls and were all inserted into the ground. These are your weapons, and they are also what you use to fight zombies. Take your weapons and follow me. The girls looked at each other, looked at the Tang Dao in front of them, and then looked at Lin Yuyu who was walking away. They all pulled out the Tang Dao on the ground, and then quickly chased after Lin Yuyu. At the door of the hospital, they looked at the electronic telescopic. Lin Yuyu's expression did not change as there were many zombies blocked by the door. Not only the electronic door, but also many zombies gathered on the fences on both sides. Looking at these ferocious zombies, the hands of the girls holding tang knives were trembling. These are in front of you. They are vicious zombies. Your task today is to clean up these zombies. Each person must have no less than 20 zombies. I will supervise you. If you can't do it, you can either feed the zombies. Either get back here and wipe the floor. Looking at these women coldly, Lin Yuyu's tone was cold and cruel. What are you waiting for? Everyone, come on. If anyone dares to retreat, I will throw you out to feed the zombies.